Part 6. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tou Lan. Chapter 51. Diddy. Mal, refreshed. Black Gold Lucky Bag X1. Quality, Orange, Legendary. No: Infinity. Introduction: a fingernail or a planet, everything is possible. Price: 10,000 points/item. The remaining limited time of the product: 6 days, 23 hours, and 59 minutes. After taking just 2 steps, the system prompt appeared again. Limited time mission. Mission goal: get the attention of Tianhai. Deadline: same day. Reward: 10,000 points. It is raining again. Standing on the overpass corridor connecting the 2 teaching buildings on the 4th floor, Sakakihara put away the system panel. The drizzle fell on the fallen leaves, and the sky and clouds became a little gray. Recently, he felt a little tired. Get up at 6 in the morning. I washed up and started preparing breakfast for the family, my 3 sisters and my own lunchbox. After arriving at school, I usually run 5 kilometers in the morning and then start class. There is a 1-hour break at noon, and classes last until about 3:30 in the afternoon. Then it's time to do some work, buy groceries, go home, and make dinner. I started writing my homework last, then reviewing and previewing. That's not right. Obviously what I yearn for in this life is a relaxed and leisurely fishing life. Why do I lead such a busy life instead? It seems that it is not easy to be the brother of these 3 sisters. With a mechanical pencil and notebook under his arm, Raku Sakakibara arrived at the afternoon club classroom of the literature club. There is only one person in the club, and she is always the serious girl who sits quietly by the window and reads a book. It was a little different from the previous few days. The scenery beside her was now filled with falling rain. The atmosphere was quiet, with only the sound of rain reaching my ears. When he found Raku Sakakibara coming in from the door and placing his schoolbag on the long table in the middle of the club, Nanami just flipped through the book and said flatly, "Brother, good afternoon." "Good afternoon. Why do I always feel like Chi Minjio that you are always in the literature club?" "Brother, are you concerned about Chi Minjio?" "Well, I'm just caring about you." Tianhai Kaimingyu blinked at him. "I didn't expect that brother would be so frank. You should be concerned. It will be better for your health if you move more. Brother, follow me." Tianhai Chi Minjio suddenly stood up, holding the book in her arms, and went to the bookshelf in the club classroom. Sakakihara Raku followed. The club of the literature club is quite large, and the entrance is where the general members of the club hang out. On the left side of the classroom are rows of bookshelves, which are independent of the school's library. Most of the books here are precious collections left by former members of the club. There are all kinds of ghost stories, urban legends, literary chronicles, unpopular novels, and photos of Showa beauties. Because that incident happened some time ago, the place has been cleaned recently and there is not much dust. Tianhai Kaimingyu stood between bookshelf number 2 and bookshelf number 3. She raised her head and stood on tiptoes to get a book on it. This is simply a classic plot. Sakakihara walked over as a matter of course and helped her take down the thick history book. "Thank you, brother." "Need not." Seeing the girl wearing glasses holding 2 books in front of her, Sakakihara felt that she was not as difficult to get along with as he thought. Tianhai Chi Minjio walked to bookshelf number 4 again, and pulled out the oldest book from a row of books wrapped in brown covers. This is the first copy of the school magazine. Brother can follow the template here to write articles. As for the content, brother can just watch and write. That's it. Sakakibara took the book in his hand and flipped through it. There were some contents with a sense of age in it, but this thing must be quite old. Is it still suitable for use now? Tianhai Kaimingyu said, "This is called tradition. Go back to where you were before." Tian Haikaimingu continued to read, and the thick history book she had just helped her use was used to cushion the corner of the table. Is this okay? This is called making the best use of everything. Okay, whatever my sister says is what I want. Raindrops were falling outside the window. Sakaki Hararaku was halfway through studying the school magazine when he suddenly smelled the fragrance coming from the girl. He raised his head, and the face of Tian Haikaimingu wearing gold-rimmed glasses and reading seriously was right in front of him. Although the sun was not shining outside, the opposite side of the table seemed to be shining. The surroundings were so quiet that only the sound of rain could be heard, and the classroom door had been locked just now. Now, there are only two people in this classroom, namely him and Chi Minjiao. He thought of the time-limited task given by the system just now. Obtain the attention of Tian Haikaimingu. What kind of attention is this attention? Although he is not the kind of person who persecutes girls for money, he can get 100,000 yen just by attracting her attention, which is completely worth it. 7 bright moons. Yes, Tian Haikaimingu's delicate white hands stroked the pages of the book, and the transparent reflection of the gold-rimmed glasses reflected the words in the book. Do you think I'm handsome? Such a shameless and extremely narcissistic inquiry must be very effective. Not ugly. Tian Haikaimingu did not raise its head, and the system was not triggered. Failed. There is no doubt that he failed. Tian Haikaimingu is obviously not the kind of person who would be interested in him just because he is narcissistic. Sakakibara fell into silence. It seems that something more exciting needs to be said. Chi Minjiao, actually I have always thought you are beautiful. This time, Tian Haikaimingu raised her eyes slightly. If my brother wants to say that he likes me, I won't be able to accept it. Because accepting doesn't mean agreeing. That's about it. Tian Hai Chi Minjiao closed the book. Brother, imagine that if Chi Minjiao agrees to your request emotionally, has brother thought about how to deal with the next thing? No, your dad will kill me. So, even if my brother likes Chi Minjiao, he doesn't have any chance. Although it was indeed just a joke, but in terms of the system not responding at all, it failed again this time. Doesn't this count as gaining attention? Sakakibara fell into deep thought again. Chi Minjiao has always been a unique person. If you want to get her attention, you must do something unique. Just as Sakakibara was thinking hard, Amami Nanamajetsu said again. Brother, it seems that he is deliberately starting a conversation with Chi Minjiao. Yes, Sakakibara admitted frankly. For what? To care about you. What do you care about? Sakakibara was stunned for a moment and replied casually, Nana Mingzuki, you don't have any other friends except your sister, right? No, no need. That's why I always see you in the literary club, not in the school playground or the back garden of the school where everyone likes to go. Brother, Amami Nanamayu looked at Raku Sakakibara opposite with the neat bow tie on her collar. Brother said these words, don't you really want to attack me? He has been trying to get my attention, and he also wants to care as an older brother. My life. She was quiet for a while, and then said calmly with a slightly lonely tone. Compared to Chi Minjiao, my sister is actually more suitable for my brother Chi Minjiao. If it were said that it was indeed a casual joke made by Sakakibara Raku just now, hoping to win Nanamayu's interest in him. Now, he really noticed a little taste. Because the twin sisters are so outstanding, Chi Minjiao, as the younger sister, feels a little disappointed. In fact, if you think about it carefully, Chi Minjiao really spends most of her time alone except with Julie Yulai. She reads quietly by herself and stays quietly in the club. Except for Xiaolin Zio, who was there before, she refuses anyone to join the club of the literature club. The temperament he usually exhibits is also difficult to approach. It was as if he had deliberately put a thorny coat on himself. Could it be that Chi Minjiao is the kind of girl who feels lonely inside? Sakaki Hararaku is not a gentle person, but when he thinks of a sister who is related to him and is alone with few people caring about him, he feels aggrieved and panicked. It was as if someone was bullying Ling intentionally, but he couldn't help her fight back, as if he was feeling aggrieved. Nanami didn't speak anymore, and neither did Sakakibara Raku. He continued to study the manuscript while thinking about how to deal with this matter. How about asking Juliuli about Nanamayu's situation? As a twin sister, she will definitely know Chi Minjiu's true thoughts. After spending about half an hour in the literature club with Nanami, Raku Sakakibara stood up. "Brother, are you leaving?" "Well, it's not raining very lightly today, and I still have my own work to do over at Juliuli." "Then go slowly. Remember to come here tomorrow. Brother's manuscript has not been completed yet." This tone. In fact, she just wanted to find someone to accompany her. Xiaolin was not in the club today either. Sakakibara felt a little sorry for her. After all, she was still a little girl. Being alone would inevitably make her feel a little uncomfortable. "Brother, bring me your cell phone." "How?" "Line, why don't you add one?" "That's right, I don't have Chi Minjiu's line yet." Sakakibara took out his mobile phone and turned on the screen. It was pitch black. Alas, the guy from West Island probably took it to play mobile games at noon. He said that there was an event on Thursday and he wanted to open a trumpet, so I lent it to him for a few uses. The battery is out. "How about Chi Minjiu, tell me your ID?" "Forget it then. Go back and join me, brother." "Well, that's good." Taking one last look at Amami Nanamajetsu, who was wearing gold-rimmed glasses, Raku Sakakibara walked out of the classroom. A minute after he left, Tianhai Kaimingya gracefully raised her chin with her right hand, stared at the place where he left, and gave a faint smile. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tou Lan. Chapter 52. Stretch. With a crisp sound of strings, the arrow flew out from the released hand. There is drizzle in the sky, and the grass in the dojo is swaying slightly on the soil. Sakakibara looked at the target that was shot under the curtain in the distance. He breathed a sigh of relief and took out an arrow from the quiver at his feet. "Fly out." Boom. Crisp hit notes. "Oh. I'm in very good condition today." Masahiro Hata, who had just come in from the dojo, was carrying a bow bag and said with a smile to Sakakibara, who was in the shooting position. "Okay." Sakakibara did not turn around to reply. Instead, he calmed down and drew an arrow with a green tail from his side. He knocked the arrow and drew the bow, tense his arm muscles to draw the bow string, and aimed his sight at the target under the rein. The fingers loosened. Bang. Hit again. "Good afternoon, Minister Tianhai." Hata Masahiro saw Tianhai Jurili walking from the other end of the dojo. The girl's clean figure in the Kyoto uniform made him straighten his back. "Good afternoon," Tianhai Juliuli responded with a smile and nodded gently. "Why are you so nervous?" "I'm not a bad person." No, this is respect for Minister Tianhai." Masahiro Hata showed his teeth in a smile, and his voice was quite bright. "Minister, do you have any goals for today?" Tianhai Juliuli held her chin and thought for a while. "No, there haven't been any competitions recently. You can just train according to your own abilities. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Although I'm not a teacher, I should be able to give you some suggestions." Minister Tianhai is so humble. Minister Tianhai is the only fourth dan player in our club. Okay, I told you not to be so serious." "Yes. Minister Hai, I went to change my hakama clothes that day. I will try my best to achieve 50 shootings today." "Okay, come on. Be careful not to injure your hands." Tianhai Juliuli showed a heartwarming smile. Masahiro Hata was moved by Minister Tenkai's words, and thought to himself that Minister Tenkai is too good. However, Minister Tianhai is still an iconic beautiful girl. It is simply irresistible. Cut. Seeing the back of Hata Masahiro walking into the locker room, in front of the shooting position in the dojo, Kobayashi Ansai glanced disdainfully. Ever since the new chief came, this guy has been as energetic as a shot of chicken blood. Although Minister Tenkai is indeed beautiful, Hata Masahiro is a guy who has not understood the 4 words a straight shot will hit at first glance. What does a straight shot mean? If you have no distractions, then your shot will hit the target. If you don't have a woman in your heart, you can shoot accurately. He is a man who wants to inspire his way to the top of the country. Until this goal is achieved, women are just drugs. Amamai Kuruori came to Sakeki Hararaku with a long bow and asked quietly, "How do you feel about the new breathing method I taught you yesterday?" "It's very useful, but it will take some getting used to." "Yes, changing the rhythm you are accustomed to requires long-term exercise. Breathing techniques cannot be practiced overnight. Not to mention that Japanese bows are completely different from competitive bows. The breathing method used is completely different. The breathing method of Kyoto is much longer and more breathable. Moreover, the Japanese bow is long at the top and short at the bottom. Compared with the traditional recurve bow, the performance is not excellent at all. In modern terms, it is more to comply with the etiquette of Kyoto. Etiquette is quite complicated and troublesome. Bang! Hit again. The target in front of Sakakibara already had 6 arrows. He stopped and began to watch the movements of Amamai Kurayuri next to him. The girl placed the arrow on the string, spread her legs forward and backward, and faced the target in front of her. The right hand pulls the string, the left hand holds the bow, and both hands are raised. The movements are as graceful as a swan standing on the lake. When she released the string in her right hand, the ethereal sound of the string pushed the arrow straight into the target. Sakeki Hararaku has been studying Kyoto for several years and knows that everyone's string sounds are different. Most of them are harsh, like a click-like linear sound. But this was the first time Sakeki Hararaku heard such a smooth and quiet string sound like Jurulai. "Then let's go first, Minister Tianhai. See you tomorrow, Minister Amamai, Sakakibara-kun." "Well, see you tomorrow." "See you tomorrow." Because the rain started to fall heavily, everyone in the club began to go home one after another. Today, Tianhai Juliuli was on duty at the archery field. He was mainly responsible for mopping the floor, putting away the bows, and taking out the targets from the shooting range. "Get off and put it back into the dojo." There were many people who wanted to help her, but they were all rejected by Tianhai Juliuli with a smile. Raku Sakekihara stayed with her until the end. Because the target was on the lawn, Sakekihara was responsible for holding the umbrella for her, and she took down the wooden pillars from above. When they walked back to the dojo together, Tianhai Juliuli asked him, "Brother, how do you feel about today?" I don't know why, but now when he faces Juliuli, he can always think of her reaching out to hold her collar. He looked at the rain on the lawn and was recalling that scene, when his thoughts were interrupted by Juliuli's voice. He thought for a while and replied, "Every day accumulates." "Daily accumulation?" "That's a very good answer." Tianhai Juliuli held Mudunzi in his arms. "For my brother, what does archery mean? In other words, why does my brother want to learn archery?" "It's very simple. It's about being interested and working hard with the attitude of learning something new." "Interested? Where's Juliuli?" "I like the atmosphere of archery more." Tianhai Juliuli walked under his umbrella. "I like the tranquility of raising a long bow and looking at the target. I like the focus of my eyes. I like listening to the breeze in my ears. I like the smell of grass and earth comes on the wind, and the crisp sound of taut when you let go of the bowstring is very pleasant." Seeing the wooden target in Tianhai Juliuli's hand slipping, Sakakibara quickly stretched out a hand to help her hold it. "Sorry, I didn't pay close attention just now." How about you hold an umbrella, and I'll take the remaining ones back. How can this be so embarrassing? Okay then. Tianhai Julie Yulai looked at him, who was taller than herself, suddenly thought of his identity, and quickly changed his mind. The tasks of the two were exchanged. Sakaki Hararaku held the wooden target, and Amamai Kuruori held an umbrella for him. Do you feel like we don't feel like brothers and sisters yet, like strangers you just met? Tianhai Julie Yulai nodded. Yes, there are some. What's Julie Yulai's impression of me? It's very good, even great. Every day when I wake up, I see my brother preparing breakfast for us. No, these are nothing. No, Julie Yulai thinks that brother should understand how difficult it is to prepare breakfast for us every day, not to mention that you prepare different meals according to the tastes of me, Chi Minjiao, and Ling. Tianhai Julie Yulai held an umbrella for him with a bright smile on her face. Besides, I also like the way my brother cooks, the seriousness with which he cuts vegetables, and the care with which he prepares ingredients. When I help him, I find that he will handle the fruits and vegetables very cleanly, and then just started cooking for us. It's just a habit, Sakakibara said, placing the target on the wooden board of the dojo, and then turned back. It's a habit for my brother, but not for us. When we eat those delicious meals every day, I feel a little guilty when I think about my brother getting up early and working till late at night to prepare them for us. Julie Yulai is really a very gentle person. She is so gentle that people can't help but want to look away and feel embarrassed to look at her. Let's do this. Brother, why don't you try to teach Julie Yulai how to cook? Of course, that's no problem. Well, I will come to the kitchen to help every day from now on. Brother, please don't dislike me. Haha, who would dislike you? Sakaki Hararaku also laughed. In fact, if you get closer to Julie Yulai, you can find that she still has the feeling of a little girl and a sense of vitality. While Sakaki Hararaku was picking up the buckle of the target, he was actually thinking about the scene when Kuruori was adjusting his collar in the mall. For some reason, that scene always lingers in my mind. Holding up an umbrella under the small tree at the entrance of the Kyoto gate, Sakakibara asked Amamai Kuruori to stand beside him holding a small school bag. Except for Dad, this is the first time I stand under the same umbrella with a boy. Tianhai Julie Yulai raised his eyes and glanced at the tip of the umbrella dripping with raindrops. You should treat me as family. Julie Yulai, I want to ask you a question. Brother, please tell me. Is Chi Minjiao a very lonely person? I don't mean any harm, I'm just asking. Solitary, Tianhai Julie Yulai's eyes revealed doubts. It's not that she's lonely. I just feel like she's always reading and having lunch alone. She's a bit lonely. Tianhai Julie Yulai thought about it for a moment. Brother, it seems that there is something wrong with what I said. But she shouldn't care about it at all. In her words, being alone is pure. Sakakibara thought of Chi Minjiao's slightly lonely expression in the afternoon. So, did she even hide it from her twin sister? The Kyoto Club is not far from the club building. Amamai Nanamai, who was waiting in the corridor on the first floor, soon saw the man holding an umbrella with his twin sister. The girl's delicate little face was full of peace. Smelly Lele. Why haven't you replied yet? At the same time, Sakakibara Suzu stood under the student building and looked at the gray sky with a depressed look. According to the previous situation, Sakakibara Suzu should have come to pick her up at this time. What is he doing now? Why don't you read the news? Suzu Sakakihara glanced at the screen of her mobile phone, which showed dozens of unread messages in a row. Brother. And looked worriedly at the dark clouds above the head filled with raindrops. It's now around 6 o'clock, and the school is completely empty, with not a single student in sight. Because of the unfavorable road, Sakakihara Suzu asked Tiano to go home alone, and before she left, she confidently said to her, "It's okay, my brother will pick me up later." Therefore, Sakakihara Suzu has been waiting under the school building without an umbrella. From 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. It was nothing at first. She knew that her brother had a Kyoto club activity to participate in. If she couldn't contact her, she probably put her phone in the closet. But now, most of the students had gone home, and she still didn't have a reply. She couldn't wait any longer and wanted to brave the rain to go to the Kyoto club to find her. But just as she walked out of the teaching building and came to a green tree, and was about to rush out around the trees around the teaching building, she suddenly saw three shadows under an umbrella in the direction of the school gate. Because that umbrella was the umbrella he had sent to the company a few days ago, and because the back was that of his brother, Sakakibara Suzu recognized it at a glance. Sakakihara Suzu held her hand on the tree and stared at the backs of the three people huddled under the umbrella and leaving together for a long time. Looking at the shadows of the three people fading away in the rain, Suzu Sakakihara looked down at the mobile phone in her hand that had sent dozens of messages. She raised her hand and sent another message to Sakakibara. Waited 5 minutes. Ken. Still no response. Looking at the three figures who disappeared at the school gate, Sakakihara Suzu suddenly felt abandoned. She hugged her legs and squatted under the tree. In the past, on rainy days, I never forgot to ask myself if I had brought an umbrella. Smelly Lele picked up both of them but didn't pick up me. Who is your biological sister? Sakakibara Raku, Amamai Nanamajetsu, Amamai Kuruori, and the others returned home. The first thing they did when they got home was to take out the charger to charge their mobile phones. Not long after turning on the phone, they found dozens of lines sent to them by Sakakibara Suzu. Why are you posting so many lines? Today is Wednesday. Didn't she leave school early to go to work in the afternoon? He replied casually to her, what's wrong? And I was going to give her a call and ask her why it was so urgent. Brother Tian Haikiming appeared behind him. What's wrong? Sakakihara asked Nanimingzuki again. Brother, don't think too much about what happened in the afternoon. Chi Minjiu is fine alone. When Tian Haikiming said this, her vision was wandering, her eyes were squinting, and she was holding her shoulders with her hands. Sakakibara understood that Nanimijaya was pretending to not care about her. Since Chi Minjiu thinks it's good to be alone, why do you still ask me to go to the literature club in the afternoon? Since you think having one more person is troublesome, then you will most likely refuse a link to join the literature club. As a sister, I can't refuse the Sister Chan thing. Sakakibara smiled and said, well, I won't go to the literature club in the afternoon. You'd better come. What? I said, brother, it's better to come in the afternoon. Tian Haikiming raised her voice slightly, her face a little rosy with embarrassment. Sakakibara smiled on his face. Although Chi Minjiu is a little vindictive, this feeling of refusing to welcome is still quite cute. Looking at the backs of the three of them when they go to school in the morning, Sakakihara Raku can feel a sense of responsibility on his shoulders. As an elder brother, he should take care of them more. Tian Haikiming turned around, and a calm voice came from her petite back, I'm going back to the bedroom first. Call me after dinner. Good. Tuk tuk. A knock on the door. Sakakibara walked to the entrance and opened the door, his expression was stunned. In front of her was Suzu Sakakibara, who was wearing school uniform and was all wet. Her wet hair was sticking to her cheek. She was holding her left arm with her right hand. The rain had covered up the smell of her body. She stared blankly at her feet, her face looking very pale. Aling? Aren't you at the office? Today is Wednesday. Company? Wednesday. Sakakibara Suzu pursed her lips slightly, raised her face that was soaked by the rain, her purple eyes were locked on Sakakibara Lee's face, her face was full of dissatisfaction, her throat rolled for a while, and she shouted angrily. Smelly Lele. You didn't even pick me up when you took Chi Minjio and Julie Yulai home. Who is your biological sister? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tiu Lan. Chapter 53. Smelly Lele, go live your life with Julie Yulai and Kaiming Yu. You didn't go to work. This is not obvious. Today is Thursday. Thursday, Sakeki Harasuzu really doesn't want to pay attention to the old man in front of her. He just went home with Julie Yulai and Chi Minjio, and they must have been talking and laughing along the way. Go back. They were so happy that they neglected themselves. Stinky Lele, really stinky Lele. Sakeki Harasuzu raised her cheeks that were soaked by the rain, and stared at him with a pair of purple eyes. I sent you dozens of messages, why didn't you reply? My phone is out of battery. I was going to give you a call when I got back. I thought you were going to the office this afternoon. You told me that I don't need to see you every Wednesday. You have a radio drama recording to do. Today is Thursday. Sakeki Hara was silent for a while. Well, this is my fault, I'm sorry. His sincere apology still touched Sakeki Harasuzu's heart. Don't be angry, okay? Just smile and I'll make amends to you. What delicious food do you want to eat? Sakakibara wanted to make her happy and said with a smile. I don't want to deal with you anymore. Sakakibara Suzu pushed him away, took off her wet shoes at the entrance, and went directly back to the bedroom. Sakeki Harasuzu hugged her legs and huddled in the corner of the room, her head buried in her knees. She didn't want to think about anything or recall anything now. She just wanted to stay quietly like this for a while. Tuk tuk. Tuk tuk. Several more knocks sounded outside the door. Ling, come out quickly. I put some hot water for you. If you get caught in the rain, you need to take a shower, otherwise you'll be in trouble if you catch a cold. Ailing, ailing. Don't you only care about them too? You also care about what I do. Listening to those annoying knocks on the door, Sakakibara Suzu felt that the work of the brother and sister for more than 10 years was in vain. It's totally a plastic brother-sister relationship. The cold feeling came from the wet school uniform, and Sakeki Harasuzu unconsciously hugged her legs tighter. It's over, it's all over, it's all Stinky Lele's fault. Tuk tuk. Tuk tuk. There were knocks like this several times in a row. Ailing, come out, I'll apologize to you. Ailing, come out and take a shower. Don't catch a cold. The knocking on the door suddenly stopped. And it didn't sound again for a long time after that. The sound of rain could be heard from outside the window. Sakeki Harasuzu, who had her head buried, couldn't help but look at the door. After that, she never heard his voice calling her again. For just a moment, just for a moment, she felt an almost regretful feeling in her heart. She looked at the door, her eyes seemed to be expecting something. But after a minute, there was still no knock on the door. Sakeki Harasuzu felt that the wet clothes on her body had become much colder again. She hugged and squatted, huddled up. As expected, this stinky old man really doesn't care about me at all. Ailing, I'm coming in. Sakeki Harasuzu was a little happy when she heard his voice ringing again, but she was only happy for a second. She remembered the time when he left her alone on a rainy day. She didn't want to pay attention to him, but she also wanted to pay attention to him. Ailing, I'm coming in. Sakeki Harasuzu was unmoved because she locked the door and was not afraid of Stinky Lele coming in. Click. The door opened. Sakeki Harasuzu suddenly raised her head, with a rather surprised expression on her face, and asked him hesitantly, how did you, get in here? There's something wrong with your door. I told you this morning that your door can't be locked. Raku Sakakihara held the door lock and smiled, looking at his sister huddled in the corner of the room. Sakakihara Suzu turned her face away angrily. Why didn't I know about this? You had just finished washing and were lying on the sofa playing with your phone. You were probably so happy that you didn't pay attention. Don't come over here. I won't pay attention to you, Sakakihara Suzu whispered, not looking at him. Sakakibara walked up to her and squatted down. Looking at the little short-haired sister in school uniform in front of him, he smiled and said, "Have we been arguing a lot lately?" Belle. It's all Stinky Lele's fault. I'm sorry for what happened today, but I really didn't mean it. I remembered the date wrong, and my phone suddenly ran out of battery. Sakakibara stretched out his hand and placed it on her head. Don't be angry, okay? Don't touch my head. Sakakibara took his hand back and said, then, can you go take a bath quickly? Don't catch a cold. Dead sister control. What? Smelly Lele is just a bitch. I'm not. That is. It's really not true. That is. You are so happy when Lela Juliuli bought you clothes. I bought you a mobile phone, but you didn't even smile. If I hadn't received a good role at work recently, I would have been recording all afternoon, and I didn't even have 10,000 yen. Why did I spend 130,000 yen to buy you a mobile phone? Do you want to be angry? I will never give you a gift again. No, I really like the gift you gave me. When I was a child, you came to me with a small gadget and said with a smile that it was given to my brother. I was very happy. By the way, Sakakibara took out her keychain, found a little dolphin that had been worn to the point of peeling paint, and brought it to her eyes. I still have this thing. Sakakihara Suzu also saw the dolphin pendant in his hand, although she was still very angry that he forgot to take her home. But as soon as I saw this object, past memories replayed in my mind like a revolving lantern. She suddenly remembered why she gave this to him, and when she gave it to him, she hugged him and asked him to take her to buy snacks. Thinking of these, Sakakihara Suzu felt that her eyes felt even more sour. Why do you still keep it when it's already so ugly? You gave it to me. How can I put it this way? It feels like someone cares about me. When I see this little gadget given to me, I can always think of many things. Raku Sakakihara murmured as if recalling. When you gave me this thing, didn't you say that you would never be angry with your brother in your life? You will always think that your brother is the best person. No, no. Sakakibara Suzu hugged her legs and immediately raised her head to retort. But after subconsciously saying this, Suzu Sakakihara, who had memories of the past, couldn't help but think of the memories of sleeping together, going to school together, finishing school together, and watching TV together on the same sofa. In addition, he saw the way he kept the gift he had given out, and the way he patiently explained it in front of him. Sakakihara Suzu suddenly remembered that every time she was sad or unhappy since she was a child, he would comfort her like this in front of her. Don't let yourself cry or be sad. If you have any problems, your brother will help you solve them. In fact, this is indeed the case. For various reasons, and also because his mother wanted him to take care of herself, he went to school 2 years late with her. Sakakihara Suzu relented a little. Ling, I don't know if you believe it or not, in my previous life, but I was actually not a particularly responsible person in my previous life. I don't like to hold children when they cry. I only find it troublesome and annoying when children twist and ask for things. I just want to get rid of them quickly and go do what I like. But you are different. When I look at you, do you understand that I can't do that? Why and why? In fact, I don't know at all, but there is that feeling in my heart, that kind of intimacy of blood connection. When I look at you, it always reminds me that you are mine. Sister. Brother, I'm starting to play the emotional card again. Sakakibara smiled and said, you can just take it as me, but I really think so. In the past, you always liked to hug my neck from behind, but now you don't. I still feel a little pity. By the way, when I went shopping for clothes a few days ago, Ailing, were you following me? Sakakihara Suzu was stunned for a second, and her thoughts were suddenly exposed. She was a little embarrassed now. She closed her eyes to hide her embarrassment, and said hesitantly, I'm just worried about you. It's not like Julie Yulai wants to eat me. What are you worried about? I didn't know it was Julie Yulai. Then who do you think you are? Of course I thought. Suzu Sakakihara stopped talking, blushed and buried her head deeper. Anyway, I am an idiot. This is the third time you have made me angry recently. Ailing, are you shy? I am not shy, I'm angry. It's right to be angry. Seeing that her mood was almost stable, Sakakihara turned around and sat next to her, with his back against the wall. During this period, Sakakihara Suzu secretly glanced at him. Sakakihara looked at the ceiling of her bedroom and said to her, Ailing, Chi Minjio and Julie Yulai are now my sisters. Although I understand this, it will take a certain amount of time to accept it. When it comes to treating you, I will not be partial and will even intentionally favor you. Look at Julie Yulai asking me to go shopping for clothes, and I don't even want to buy you a set. Isn't it Julie Yulai's advice to you? How could it be? I think you gave me a mobile phone as a gift, so I should give you a gift in return. Your clothes and shoes are the most expensive, costing me more than 100,000 yen. Where did the smelly old man get so much money? Haha. I saved this all while working. In fact, it is systematic. How about it? Do you like the clothes I bought you? Sakakihara Suzu was quiet for a while, covering her face with her arms, staring at the carpet directly opposite, pouting. I don't like it, it looks ugly. Sakakibara stuck his head out to look at her. It looks ugly? Then I'll take it back. There's no gift that can be taken back. Sakakihara Suzu's expression suddenly became anxious. She folded her hands on her knees, leaned her forehead on them, and muttered, no matter how ugly you are, you can't take it back. Ling, I know you are jealous because of Julie Yulai and Chi Minjio, and you are thinking, brother, why aren't you so nice to me? Sakakihara Suzu's face turned even redder. I won't be jealous of Stinky Lele. Besides, you are my brother, why should I be jealous of you? Who said jealousy only happens between lovers? It happens between brothers and sisters too. I understand how you feel. It's very uncomfortable to feel like your brother was suddenly snatched away. If you want to take it away, take it away. I won't care about you. Sakakibara smiled and faced Sakakibara Suzu, who was about to speak. You want to say this, right? Having seen through her thoughts, Sakakihara Suzu's eyes flickered, full of light that she wanted to escape from. Ailing, have you been dubbing recently and evolving into a character? Why have you become so arrogant? Sakakihara Suzu pushed his approaching face away hard, her ears turned red. Who is the tsundere? You little girl, please go away. Then if I say I'm a girl, will you be happy? Damn girl control. Only ghosts will be happy. Girls, don't talk about killing and ghosts all the time. It's unlucky. I hate it so much. You've always made irresponsible remarks to me since I was a child. My mother is not as annoyed as you. Sakakihara looked at her bulging cheeks and a little moist face, and laughed. Also, it's only 3 things, I promise not to make you angry. Snort. So, why don't you go take a shower now? It's not good to be sick. And we are brothers and sisters, Ling. We have been in love for more than 10 years. Are you afraid that you won't be able to compare with Chi Minjio and Julie Yulai? Sakakihara Suzu remained silent and said no more. My brother has indeed taken care of himself for more than 10 years. And I cook every day and maintain the family. How about it? Still angry, Sakakihara Suzu muttered. How about don't be angry? Sakakihara Suzu finally raised her red eyes and looked at him, then give me a reason not to be angry. You say it, Sakakihara laughed, I agree. I will agree to whatever you say. Yes, I said so. Then, I want you to never forget what I said. Don't forget the time. That's it? Suzu Sakakibara clenched her fist and punched him on the arm. I hate it, otherwise you think I'm angry. Then you're angry. Barely. Sakakibara once again reached out to touch her head. This time, Suzu did not refuse. She just lowered her face and let him touch her casually. Okay, don't be angry. Get up and take a shower. The hot water for you will be cold later. Sakakibara took the initiative to hold her arm and let her stand up again. Aling was probably still a little reluctant to obey after being angry, and she still stayed in place. Aren't you leaving? Sakakihara Suzu didn't answer, and Sakakihara Raku had no choice but to approach her. He bent down in front of her, held his knees with his hands, and looked at his sister's buried face from below. Sakakihara Suzu felt embarrassed when he stared at her. What are you doing? Looking at you. What catches your eyes? Sakakibara took the initiative to reach out and help her lift the rain-stained hair around her ears. In fact, if you look closely, you can see that this girl's face has grown longer. Sakakibara stood up straight again, and suddenly looked at his sister who was soaked by the rain with a scrutinizing look. She has a good figure, and she has the feeling of a cute and voluptuous girl that is unique to her younger sister. Because she was caught in the rain, her wet school uniform fit her figure better, and the wet shirt around her belly showed a faint pink color. The small belly button is also faintly visible under the aqua white shirt. What have you been looking at? Sakakihara Suzu held her Western-style jacket with both hands in shame and anger, covering her belly. Sakakibara smiled and said, I realize you have grown up. Isn't it normal to grow up? What's so beautiful about it? Sakakihara Suzu said, but she still often used small eyes to see if he was looking at her more. It's normal. You go take a shower. I'll help you make something to eat. Haven't you been clamoring for curry beef rice recently? I'll make it for you. We'll go later. Sakakihara Suzu was silent for a while and then suddenly said. How? Didn't you just say that I haven't hugged you in a long time? You mean you want a hug now? No. Well, even though you are wet all over, I definitely don't mind if you are called my sister. Sakakibara Raku said this, and then saw Sakakibara Suzu slowly leaning towards him, wrapping her hands around his neck, and hugging him. Her body was a little cold, and the skin where her arms touched her neck was also cold, but there was still a soft touch. Under the cold skin, there was a little bit of residual warmth. She just hugged herself and rested her forehead against her shoulder. After many days of hugging, Sakakibara could clearly feel that she was much taller than before. Their relationship is that of brother and sister, but it is closer than the ordinary relationship between brother and sister. For more than 10 years, Sakakibara Raku has cooked for her and helped her with her homework at night. When she was growing up, she occasionally had small fights and bickering, but he was also full of warmth. To say that she has a profound memory, Sakakibara still remembers her first menstrual period when she was in junior high school. When my sister suffered from extensive bleeding for the first time, the first person she looked for was not her teachers and classmates, but herself. It was the first time that she faced that situation. She didn't know what to do and was so anxious that she wanted to cry. At that time, Sakakibara Raku was also very good. When his mind got excited, he didn't even think of asking the female teacher for it. Instead, he went straight out of the school to buy it for his sister. Of course, I was caught later, holding a sanitary napkin and was criticized by the patrol teacher. Later, before Sakakihara Suzu could use it, her female classmate found her in the toilet and got her one to use. At that time, Sakakihara Raku said to her afterwards that if you don't study healthcare classes well, you won't know what to do in the end. It feels embarrassing to think about it now. Sakakibara knew that he was not a mature adult. When he was reborn at the age of 18, he only knew a little more than others. He can get into trouble, he can be stupid, and overall, he is a little kid. If there is anything more in this life than in the previous life, it is only the sister and a little sense of responsibility. Are you feeling better? Don't be angry. Huh, I'm not angry to begin with. That's when you're angry. Brother said yes, don't make me angry. Of course. Sakakihara Suzu hugged him and put her head on his shoulder and continued, also, don't be partial or forget me. I will forgive you for what happened this time. I understand, Sakakibara hugged her. Even though her body was soaked by the rain, the feeling of being close to her could not help but warm her heart. This is what it feels like to have a sister who can rely on you. If I were myself in my previous life, I would definitely feel this way. I want to eat potato curry rice. I'll do it for you right away. Then, thank you. Sakakihara Suzu muttered, looked at him again, and walked out of the bedroom to take a shower. Being jealous these days is nothing to worry about. Sakakibara Raku walked out of Sakakibara Suzu's bedroom and looked in the direction of the bathroom. Amamai Nanamajetsu, who was holding a book, appeared behind her. She also saw the shadow of Sakakihara Suzu just now. Brother, Ling has a tendency to control his brother. I know, but it's normal for her to be a little brother controlled at her age. At this age, shouldn't we dislike each other? As you know, my father left us long ago. My mother is busy with work every day, and I am the only one who can take care of her. So, in Ling's eyes, the elder brother is not only an elder brother, but also half a father. Your statement is a bit strange, but in terms of responsibilities, it is true. But we all treat each other as brothers and sisters. There is no such thing as a father or a father. Tian Haikiming's sky blue eyes stared at his back, as calm as ever. If my sister Chan still has such feelings for my brother in the future, there will be problems sooner or later. What do you mean? Sakakihara turned around and asked. But Tian Haikiming just shook her head and stopped talking. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tou Lan. Chapter 55. Q. Who is Nikko Tashaga shrine dedicated to? Answer, Tokugawa Ieyasu. Q. Which kind of harem woman can be called Deo? Answer, during the Tokugawa Ieyasu period, the shogun's wives and concubines were women welcomed by the Ichijo, Nijo, Kyujo, Kono, and Takeji Gosho families or the imperial family. Q. What is Surul? Answer, Saragaku no, from the Heian period to the Edo period, was a comical performance technique and short play that mainly took the form of imitation. Q. What was Kyoto called during the Heian period? Answer, Heianjing. At night, on the desk in the bedroom, under the lamp. Raku Sakakihara stared at the Japanese history homework in front of him, and the gel pen in his hand made smooth handwriting on the paper, making a rubbing sound. It's done. Sakakibara looked at the large pile of homework in front of him and breathed a sigh of relief. After sorting and overlapping all the homework and textbooks and putting them into his backpack, he picked up the mobile phone beside him and looked at the time. 11 hours 43 minutes and 23 seconds. It's almost 12 o'clock. I got up and went to the bathroom, washed my face with warm water, then walked back to the bedroom, lay on the bed and clicked on the system prompt with red spots. Limited time mission. Mission goal, Get the attention of Tian Haikiming Yu. Deadline, same day. Reward, 10,000 points. Completed. I didn't expect to complete this task this afternoon, nor was I in the mood, but before I even took 2 steps out of the literature club, a completed prompt appeared. In this way, Chi Minjiao must be paying attention to herself at the moment. There is still a question mark as to what she is paying attention to. To be honest, Sakakibara Raku still has some confusion about Nanamayu's nature, sometimes distant, sometimes far and sometimes close. She hasn't done anything to tease people recently, she just likes to read quietly in the literature club alone. I have been reading alone. This is probably the reason why Chi Minjiao has a weird personality. Forget it, don't think about it anymore. Sakakihara reached out and slid the system panel, found the store page, and directly bought the orange quality black gold lucky bag. The top is engraved with simple black patterns, and the complicated curves without any rules have a kind of exquisite beauty. Maybe this is the language of another world? After staring for a while, Sakakibara gave up the idea of studying this language and directly opened the black gold lucky bag. Diddy dot. 1. Ring of Alperon, orange. 2. Money /343211 yen. The props have been distributed, please check carefully. Sakakihara clicked on the orange item prompt. The Ring of Alperon, legendary item. Introduction: the ring given by his lover to Alperon, one of the 3 knights of the Empire, represents his sincere blessing to this heroic female knight. The golden ring, which has withstood the battlefield for more than hundreds of years and has been bathed in glorious deeds, has also been imbued with strange power. Wearing effect: physical strength add 1, charm add 1. Special function: the ring can be hidden, and it can automatically learn Alperon family swordsmanship LV1, Alperon family physical skills LV1. +1 for physical strength and charm, and even 2 different world physical swordsmanships to learn? Sakakibara raised a rare eyebrow. This thing, for just 2 attribute points, is worth a high-end apartment in Chiyoda district. Of course, you can buy an apartment if you have money, but you can't buy this thing if you have money. He reached out his hand and took out the ring from the system backpack, then put it on his index finger and chose to hide it. He tried shaking his fist twice. No feelings. That's weird. Didn't you learn physical skills? Sakakihara tried swiping twice more. He stopped and was silent for 2 seconds. Grandma, it's a lie, right? Just when he was about to study what was going on with the system, a lot of strange and indescribable special knowledge emerged in his mind. He noticed that his body suddenly seemed to have a memory, and he whipped his leg into the air to drive the airflow. The strong leg wind even pushed the potted green plants placed on the bookshelf 1 meter away. Yes, it's a bit powerful. Sakakihara tried jumping on the spot twice more and punched twice. Although he didn't know what the characteristics of Alperon's sword and body skills were, the feeling of being full of energy and being in control of both legs and hands was indeed right. Next, try your hand at swordsmanship. Sakakihara pulled out another clothes hanger in the closet, held it in his hands, and contemplated for a while with his eyes closed. The moment he opened his eyes, he was suddenly startled. What about sliding sword, side attack, low body, and side dodge, stabbing, slashing, alternate world AL? The swordsmanship of the Perun family can be used at will, and it is as coherent as running water. Comfortable, Sakakihara let out a long breath. It's a pity that something seems to be missing, so this swordsmanship cannot be fully utilized. Interesting. Sakakibara tried swinging twice more. He had never really seen the so-called swordsmanship in his 2 lifetimes. He found another clothes hanger, crossed his hands, and said, "Starburst air slash." Squeak. The sound of the bedroom door being pushed open. Sakakibara froze. A head poked out from the crack in the door. Sakakibara Suzu, who was wearing rabbit pajamas, half closed her eyes and looked up and down at Sakakibara Raku, who was moving strangely. Did I have a Chuyunibu attack? I was throwing 2 clothes hangers around in the middle of the night. Do you think you are a swordsman? A man is a boy until he dies. Women don't understand the charm of swordsmanship at all. Haha, it's nothing. Raku Sakakihara smiled and hid the clothes hanger behind his back to cover up his embarrassment, and asked, "It's so late, Suzu, why are you here suddenly?" Suzu Sakakihara took out a book of after-school exercises from Akita Junior High School and looked at him. "I can't do my homework." Mathematics, Sakakihara glanced at the cover. Then come over here and let me take a look." Sakakihara casually threw the 2 hangers on the bed. Suzu Sakakihara held the book in her small hands, holding the pen in her hand, sat down at his desk, and reached out to turn on the light. Sakakihara took out another stool and sat next to her. "It feels like my brother has suddenly become a lot weirder." Sakakihara Suzu secretly glanced at his side face. "Why do you think he likes you? Didn't you just get angry with him?" "Yeah." Sakakibara took the exercise book she opened and focused on the questions, not paying attention to the way she looked at him. "Which question?" "The last 4 questions." Sakakibara took a cursory glance. "These are all relatively simple set application questions. It's just that the last question requires a few transformations and is a bit more difficult." He put down the exercise book. "Aling, the monthly test is about to begin." "Isn't the monthly test next week?" "Next week is not very far away. If you lose your score in math, be careful. If you repeat it too many times, you will immediately repeat the grade." "Repeat the grade?" Sakakihara Suzuya didn't want to repeat the grade. "What should I do?" "Study hard, otherwise what else can you do?" "Brother, will you teach me?" "I'm not the one who teaches you all the time. I'll have a study session for you next week and do a few more questions." "Study meeting? Where to study?" "Either at home or in a family restaurant." "It's still a family restaurant." Raku Sakakibara, "Okay, finish your homework quickly. It's late at night, so you should go to bed." First is the first question. Regardless of the description and numbers, the idea is very simple. First find the sets A and B, and then find the intersection. After explaining 4 questions in a row, Sakakihara put down the pen in his hand and asked, "How was it?" Sakakihara Suzu's little face showed a confident smile under the dim light of the desk lamp. "It's not that difficult." Sakakibara looked at his sister. "I think it's not that you don't understand, but that you didn't listen carefully. Maybe you were distracted in class." Sakakihara Suzu was a little nervous when he stared at her. Why are you like my mother?" "Your mother is also my mother, and I am your brother. I have not taken care of you since you were a child." "Your mother is wrong. It's not like our mother doesn't know her situation. She only tells you to hurry up and study with me. How about it? Do you want me to help you with tutoring?" Of course Sakakihara Suzu knows how good Sakakihara Raku is to her. In the past, he would keep everything delicious for himself, and he would keep all the meat in the dishes for himself without moving his chopsticks. He also took care of his own breakfast and dinner for more than 10 years, and he was used to it. When she thought of this, she suddenly felt that what happened in the afternoon was not that serious. "Brother, have I become unlovable recently?" "Well, indeed, she is still the cute little sister who brags about how cute she is in front of me every day." Sakakihara nodded, and then said, "But the most important thing is that I still lose my confidence." Sakakihara noticed the subtle changes in her expression. "Don't you often compare yourself with Julie Yulai and Kaimingyu?" "What's wrong, can't we compare?" Sakakihara Suzu muttered quietly. "You are no worse than them. You are even more successful in your career. Why do you want to compare with them?" "Let me tell you, My sister is better. Real. It is true. Sakakihara Suzu felt a little happy, half hiding her face, and kicked him with her little foot hidden under the desk. Kick me for what? I just want to kick you. There is also curry rice for dinner. It is delicious. Thank you. Sakakibara Suzu's voice became smaller and smaller. Sakakibara understands the little thoughts of this kind of girl, which is to attract attention, so he deliberately joked. It seems that Suzu-chan, who I saw growing up, has really become arrogant. She even had to kick me before she said that the food I cooked was delicious. With her mind wandering, Sakakihara Suzu didn't pay much attention to the words "I've seen you since I was young," and thought he was talking about my Suzu-chan. What a greasy girl. The girl's face suddenly turned red and her head felt hot. The delicate face of shame and anger was particularly obvious under the warm light of the desk lamp. She opened her mouth for a long time before hesitatingly said loudly. Who is your Suzu-chan? Don't use such a weird title, okay? You're taking it out of context. I obviously didn't say that. Then what did you say? What I'm talking about is the big Suzu-chan I saw growing up. I don't care. It's Stinky Lele's fault anyway. I'm going back. Sakakihara Suzu felt that she was blushing and was embarrassed. She hurriedly packed away the draft books, exercise books, and gel pens on the desk. He immediately hugged her and stood up and walked out of the bedroom. When she was going out, Sakakihara Suzu noticed that he was looking at her and made an anxious face at him. Good night, Stinky Lele. Then there was a bang and the door to his bedroom was closed. Sakakihara looked towards the closed door and smiled. Sometimes when my sister grows up, she is in trouble. If it tastes good, just say it tastes good. What does a tsundere do by beating around the bush? Since the Tianhai sisters came, A Ling has not only become arrogant, but her face has also become thinner. I used to keep saying in front of myself, if I'm not cute, who will be? Brother, give me water quickly. I hope she gets better recently. Have an uneventful week, and the second after that. In order to prepare for the joint monthly examination of high schools in the entire port area, everyone is fully prepared to start studying in order to get a good ranking. Chi Minjia made no progress at all. He didn't know what she was paying attention to, and he became more and more curious. The points and deposits also exceeded 10,000 points and 600,000 yen. For a high school student, he has not yet figured out how to spend this huge sum of money. The electrical appliances in the house were all newly purchased by Uncle Tianhai and there is no need to replace them at all. How about buying a laptop for A Ling? This is fine. When the time comes, you can say that your money was won by buying lottery tickets. No matter how much she doubted it, she couldn't doubt it, she could only believe it. Oh, Sakakibara, I'm really tired. Why do you think I chose my Toku Junior High School in the first place? In the afternoon physical education class when the sun was overwhelming, Fujino Yoshiyuki sat down next to him with a basketball in his arms. I'm tired from studying and playing basketball. Maybe I'll be tired when I go to college or enter society. Fujino's expression froze. Damn. I'll be tired for the rest of my life, so why should I work hard? Sakakibara, who was covered in sweat, picked up a bottle of mineral water and drank it all in one gulp. The cool water flowed in his mouth, and his chest and abdomen were clear and cool. Integrity, hard work, for a better tomorrow, to give your girlfriend a home. Fujino, didn't you see our school's motto when you entered school? Aim high. Of course, he made up all the above. School motto? Isn't our school's motto none? Yeah. Nishijima Ogai put his hands behind his back and looked at the floating clouds in the blue sky not far away and added, means openness and freedom, which means that anyone with a certain skill can enter a high school. Sakakihara frowned, is there any other way to say this? Nishijima Ogai sat upright and spread his hands. I made this up. But there is indeed no school motto. Fujino Yoshiyuki carelessly hugged Sakeki Hararaku's shoulders. The monthly test is coming soon, how about the three of us form a study group together? I am good at history, Nishijima is good at mathematics, and you, Sakeki Hara, are good at Chinese. Go, go. Sakeki Hara drove him away angrily. Why did you just think of yourself and put a label on him that Chinese is good, but everything else is bad? Don't look down on your 4th grade in admission. Sakakibara, since I don't have any work in the afternoon, we will go out after school. Study. You almost exposed your true nature, didn't you? Raku Sakeki Hara sighed. It's not that I don't want to accompany you, but I already have someone chosen. I'll be tutoring at a nearby family restaurant in the afternoon. The air was silent for 2 seconds. Sakakibara, it's only our 3rd week of enrollment. Besides us, do you have any friends? Gone. That's the problem. Nishijima Ogai pushed up his glasses frame and looked at him. Fujino Yoshiyuki sat down next to him holding the basketball. Tell me the truth, Sakeki Hara, have you been in love recently? Not only are you acting strangely, I also feel that you are dressed much more handsomely than before. It's nothing. Besides, I'm wearing a school uniform. There's no such thing as dressing up or not. Fujino didn't care at all whether his answer was correct or not, and playfully pushed his arm. Okay. Join me and join the ranks of cashiers. I envy them among my classmates. Sakakibara doesn't know why male high school students are so interested in falling in love. As long as I know that my gay friend is in a relationship, I will keep asking who it is. Interesting. But when I think about it carefully, it seems that I was like that in high school in my previous life. Which class is your girlfriend in? Does she look good? Show us the photos. Back to the topic, Fujino responded, Sakeki Hara, you guys haven't said who is having the study meeting with you. If possible, I would like to call my girlfriend too, because she is also about to take the monthly test. Nishijima Ogai grabbed his arm and wailed, your girlfriend is from the school next door, right? You are siding with the enemy. Traitor. It was agreed that there are only 3 of us. This is called friendship and help, Fujino also shouted to him. Wait, Nishida suddenly realized something again, and his expression changed instantly. By the way, were you planning to bring your girlfriend to the study meeting between the 3 of us from the beginning? Fujino's face only stiffened for a moment, and he quickly shook his head. Absolutely nothing. Nishijima Ogai was furious. Okay Fujino, let's forget about falling in love. You still want to deliberately show your affection in front of me and Sakakibara, don't you? Let's see how we move. Climb the dragon. You can't even use the red knife. Kick in the air. Just as Sakeki Hararaku wanted to stop the 2 from fighting, his cell phone rang. The 2 guys stopped fighting at the same time and leaned over. Who? Sakakibara spread out his phone and showed it to them. Teacher Miyasaka, she asked me to go to her office after class. Cut. The 2 of them suddenly lost interest. Thank you all for your support and rewards, thank you. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tiu Lan. Chapter 56. From the time it was founded, Myeong Gymnasium was a private school for the middle class. The school has a large plan, with playgrounds, gymnasiums, and sports facilities such as kendo halls, archery halls, and swimming pools. Even sketching in the painting department of the school can be done in the back garden of the school. It has become a university. The old locust tree in the courtyard of the teaching building is over a few hundred years old, but it is still extremely lush. Sakeki Hara looked at the scenery around the school in the student corridor and passed through the sky bridge corridor on the 4th floor connecting the 2 buildings. Sakakihara stopped and looked at a promotional wall. Above are welcome advertisements for various societies. There was also a disciplinary committee member on the side who asked everyone to post the recruitment pictures of the club and not to cover up the recruitment reminders of other clubs. Sakakibara searched all the clubs and found their Kyoto club. In the upper right corner. The Kyoto department is recruiting, and those with Kyoto experience will be given priority. The accompanying picture shows a girl looking handsome while ejaculating. This line seems to have been written by Julie Yulai. This font. It's a bit awesome. Sakakibara rubbed his chin and took another look at the promotional picture of the calligraphy club next door. Over there is the standard Arisu River style, or the Japanese style that extends from Wangzizi. However, the Chinese characters of these calligraphy students don't even remotely resemble Yuzukawa Ryu, let alone Wangzizi. No, it's not as good as Julie Yulai's handwriting. It's just that she is so good at archery, but she even has a good grasp of calligraphy. Sakakibara believes more and more in what Fujino describes as a talented lady. He withdrew his gaze, shook his head, and continued forward. When they arrived at the office, Sakakibara met the teacher of their class, Miss Miyasaka, a graduate student who had just graduated from Tokyo University's Faculty of Education. No, given my current identity, I should call her Miyasaka-sensei. Miyasaka-sensei. Mr. Miyasaka was wearing a crisp suit with the charm of a professional woman, and a pair of black-rimmed glasses on her urban beauty-like face. She smiled and said to Sakakibara Raku in front of her. In the entire school, Sakakibara-san's learning ability is also one of the best. After my observation in the past few weeks, I found that not only did he rank 4th in the entrance exam, he is also a good kid who is extremely worry-free. The expression on Sakakihara Raku's face did not change, and he thought to himself that it was terrible. Teeth are white. The class teacher suddenly praised you, either asking for your help or wanting you to participate in some exam competition. Designation is no good. Sakakibara is willing to trust his instincts 100%. So, teacher, I would like to ask you to do a small favor. Teacher Miyasaka already showed a kind smile on his face. Sure enough, it came. This smile already means you can't refuse it, right? Sakakihara smiled reluctantly. Teacher, please tell me. Isn't there a monthly test recently? Our monthly test is a joint test conducted by schools across the entire Hong Kong area. The purpose of ranking is to show the average deviation value of our freshmen who have just entered high school to the entire Hong Kong area. During this period, we entrusted a task to our math teacher. The math teacher has been too busy recently and has no time, so he gave it back to me, and I have been really busy recently. Sakakibara straightened his back. I understand, Mr. Miyasaka's work is very hard. Please feel free to ask me if you need anything. Teacher Miyasaka laughed. What a good boy, I hope you understand. What is it specifically? Sakakihara asked. Come with me now. We don't have much time after class. Let's talk as we go. Teacher Miyasaka closed the workbook in front of him, stood up, and walked out of the teaching building with Raku Sakakibara. That child is in class 1. Sakakibara-san should also know that I am not only your teacher, but also responsible for the Chinese classes of the other 2 classes. Well, I know this. That child's Mandarin is very good, surprisingly good. Maybe I don't have as much knowledge as her, but she has some problems in mathematics. Originally, I wanted your math teacher to give that child a tutoring lesson alone. But your math teacher doesn't have much time. I called out to a few classmates who had slightly better grades before and after, but they had to be busy with their own things, so they didn't agree. Sakakihara understood clearly. So, you just want me to tutor him? Yes, although this kind of thing really shouldn't be taught by our teachers to students, but if you think about it carefully, that child has learned Mandarin very well. As long as you agree, the two of you will be together in these 2 weeks. It's no problem to form a study group and prepare for each other's monthly tests. Study session? No, I promised to take Aling to the family restaurant to give her tutoring lessons. Sakaki Hararaku didn't know why, but from the beginning, he always felt something was wrong when he followed Mr. Miyasaka. Forget it, just refuse. You have to do what you promised your sister. Just when he was about to explain his situation, Mr. Miyasaka stopped. Arrive. It wasn't until he saw the 3 characters literature club hanging on the door that Sakaki Hararaku realized that his feelings were justified. Dong dong. Please come in. A familiar voice came from inside. Raku Sakakibara met the eyes of Nanami who was staring at him calmly in the classroom. Let me introduce teacher Miyasaka, who walked into the classroom, noticed the atmosphere and his eyes jumped back and forth between the two of them. Do you know each other? No. Do not know. The former sentence was said by Nanami Minjio, and the latter sentence was said by Sakakibara Raku. So do you recognize him or not? Teacher Miyasaka asked doubtfully. Amami Kaimingya closed the book and stood up from the seat by the window. I met him in my sister's archery club, so I know him, but he doesn't know me. Because they were 2 sisters who transferred to another school temporarily, teacher Miyasaka had a very deep impression on them. Is it Kuruori? I remember she is from the Kyoto club. Sakaki Hara-san, you are also from the Kyoto club? That's no problem. Since we've met, the teacher has left. You guys can talk among yourselves. Come on for the monthly test. Teacher Miyasaka raised his arm and gave the 2 of them a cheer like a girl with vitality. After bidding farewell to the teacher, there were only 2 people left in the literature department. I didn't expect that Mr. Miyasaka actually found my brother after looking for 2 people. I didn't expect that the person the teacher asked me to tutor was you. Chi Minjio, are you bad at math? Tian Haikimingyu remained calm under her gold-rimmed glasses. She turned around and looked at the sunshine and green leaves outside the classroom window of the Department of Literature. It can't be said to be bad. Is it particularly bad? Brother, do you know about Qingguan's flying swallows coming from the south and returning to the north? Sakaki Hara thought for a while, feeling a little unsure. This seemed to be the words of Sushi's close disciple. He frowned and asked. Don't ask, Mr. Yu, after we say goodbye. It was April of the 3rd year of Yuanfu, Emperor Huizong of the Song dynasty. Qingguan was moved to Hangzhou, and Sushi was also allowed to move inland. He moved from Danzhou to Lianzhou, Guangxi. This pair of teachers and students who had gone through many twists and turns and suffered many hardships were reunited on the 6th day of that year. The moon met in Canghai, and they looked at each other, speechless. Qingguan left this Zhongqinzi as a commemoration. Tian Haikimingyu said this, paused, and in a clear voice, she shook her head and mourned again. Don't ask, Mr. Yu, after we say goodbye. There are infinite things that can't be said. Have to. Sakaki Hara understood what she meant. Even if she told him not to ask more questions, there was no need to ask more questions. But when this word is used here, it doesn't apply. When did I separate from her? Isn't this just a meeting? Chi Minjio, let me discuss something with you. Brother, please tell me. As a math tutor, can you go to a family restaurant outside the school together? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tou Lan. Chapter 57. That afternoon. In the family restaurant outside the school, several homework notebooks were spread out on the table. Sister, I have to go to the bathroom. Yet Tianhai Julie Yulai continued to write today's historical topic. Sister. Tianhai Julie Yulai sighed helplessly and put down the pen in his hand. I understand, I will go with you. Sakaki Harasuzu asked them, why do we have to go to the toilet together? Tianhai Kaimingyu hugged Tianhai Julie Yulai's arm, and the two identical faces were almost close together, because Chi Minjiu and my sister are twins. If I want to pee, my sister will also feel it. Sakaki Hara raised his eyebrows. How can you say something like peeing so casually? Tianhai Julie Yulai blushed and reached out to flick her sister's forehead. What nonsense are you talking about? Tianhai Kaimingyu stubbornly resisted the pain in her forehead. Don't you think it's my sister? If my sister is peeing, Chi Minjiu will also feel it. 7 bright moons. It's true. Whether it's true or not, this kind of thing. Tianhai Julie Yulai's voice was obviously much softer. How can you just say it here? What's the point of peeing? It's not like a beautiful girl doesn't know how to use the toilet. This is not the important issue at all, Chi Minjiu. Don't be naughty. Oh, okay, but my sister is only 5 minutes older than me. Can you let me be your sister for a while? If there's not much to say, let's go to the toilet quickly. Tianhai Julie Yulai took Tianhai Kaimingyu's arm, smiled at the two people at the opposite table and said, Brother, I still have Ling. Excuse me. Sakaki Harasuzu, it's okay. Brother, why are there 2 more people in our study meeting? Halfway through writing the exercises, Sakaki Harasuzu couldn't help but asked in a low voice to Sakaki Raku beside her. Teacher, please ask me to take care of Chi Minjiu's mathematics. I told you, and since the 3 of us are here, of course Julie Yulai will follow. Are you jealous again? My angel won't argue with my sisters. Besides, it's good to learn to make progress together as a family. Sakaki Harasuzu's slightly tilted profile was full of confidence, and she just put her hands on her hips. Show her pride. Is this back to normal? Sakaki Hararaku also made a point of looking her up and down. Why are you looking at me like this? I was wondering if you had your period a few days ago. Stinky Lele, I'll kill you. Afterwards, the 2 Tianhai sisters came back while playing around and sat in their original positions. After a peaceful study period, Tianhai Julie Yulai frowned when he saw a math question. Brother, take a look at this question. Let me see. Sakaki Hara thought for a moment. In this way, first calculate n, and then substitute it into the formula to solve. This algorithm is a bit troublesome, and the conditions seem to be insufficient. Let me take a closer look. 6. This solution seems wrong. Brother, did you make a mistake in calculating the formula? Where? Here, 4 seems to be written as a subscript 4. So that's it? I said something is wrong. After explaining it all, Tianhai Julie Yulai kept nodding his head, gradually clarifying his thoughts. Every time I get close to Julie Yulai, I can smell her fragrance, and her beautiful face has an indescribable charm when she looks serious. Sakaki thought again of that day in the shopping mall, when she was holding her collar, and the delicate feeling of her little hand touching her neck. Every time he recalled this scene, Sakaki Hararaku couldn't help but look at her twice, and sighed that her appearance was really beautiful. Even in family restaurants, their table has a 100% return rate. No adolescent boy would not be interested in 2 beautiful twin girls. After explaining the topic, Sakaki looked at Amamai Kuriyuri's serious face, as if he could see the gentle smile deep in her heart in her flaxen hair and sky-blue pupils. Just at this moment, Tianhai Julie Yulai raised her head again in order to discuss the topic with him, and their eyes happened to meet. Eyes meet. Amamai Kuriyuri smiled normally, which made Sakaki Raku avoid looking. He couldn't help but secretly curse himself, an old virgin, for not being able to hold back the smile of a little girl. Alas! In 2 lifetimes of 18 and 17 years, I have never fallen in love once. It was a mistake, really a mistake. How about really finding a girlfriend? But he was a little worried about what to do if his girlfriend wasn't as good looking as Julie Yulai. Tianhai Julie Yulai is one of a kind in terms of appearance, temperament, and figure. She is expected to be included in the school monthly magazine's charm rating next month along with Chi Minjiao. Everyone has a love for beauty, and being able to fall in love with a beautiful girl is of course the best thing. What Ailing talks about every day is not good looking at all, he is so ugly, but it makes him a little less confident. My charm in school was rated an 8, but the system is now a 9. My appearance is definitely not weak, right? But he feels that his 8 points and 9 points of charm have not improved significantly. Just when she was taking off her clothes, Ailing peeked at her abdominal muscles. This girl also said that you are my brother, there is nothing I can't see. Sakaki Hararaku, the most important thing in falling in love is confidence. How can you show your charm if you don't have confidence? Do you expect to fall in love with you based on the distress of a beautiful girl? Sakakibara calmed down and planned to go for a 20-kilometer run today. Brother. Well, what's wrong? This question. Okay, I'll take a look again. The two quickly put their heads together again and began to discuss. Sakaki Hararaku became happier the more he learned, because he found that Julie Yulai could completely keep up with his own thinking, and at the same time gave him many unique insights to help him correct his mistakes. Gradually, the feelings of the other two people were ignored. Amami Nanami stared at her sister, and Sakaki Harasuzu stared at her brother. The two of them were like outsiders, silently watching the two people who exchanged 10 questions, and drank all the milkshakes in front of them. Nanami's face was calm, and she lightly kicked Sakaki Hararaku with her foot under the table. Brother, I also have a lot of questions that I can't solve. Didn't teacher Miyasaka ask you to tutor me in math? Just because you and your sister wrote it, what should I do? Sakaki Hararaku now has nothing else to focus on except solving problems with Julie Yulai, and doesn't think deeply. Oh, that's good, Nanamijiao, you can come over too. Tianhai Kaimingyu tilted her head slightly, moved away, and patted the leather seat next to her. Brother, come here and sit between me and my sister. Good. Wrong. Suddenly feeling a murderous aura, Sakaki Hararaku suddenly understood that that location was definitely the Shura field. Looking at Ailing next to her, her expression was ordinary and there was no change. But something was wrong, completely wrong. Brother, why don't you go over? It should be very happy to tutor two younger sisters with their homework, right? Sakakibara coughed, correction, it's 3. Sakakibara Suzu curled her lips and said with a nonchalant look on her face, it's up to you, brother. We are just sisters anyway. It doesn't matter if we give in occasionally. After all, we are all a family. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tou Lan. Chapter 58. The study group spent the day peacefully. Today is Friday, and Ailing has to record the weekend radio voice actor talk in the afternoon, so the study meeting is temporarily disbanded. Raku Sakakibara is the kind of person who can't sit still. Taking advantage of the fact that school ended early on Friday and there were no club activities, he changed into a pair of sportswear and went out for a run. Originally, he wanted to call Kuriyuri to join him, but her class seemed to be still tutoring other courses, so Sakakibara had no choice but to go home first. From Juhidaji Temple to Shirogane Mizukawa Shrine, from the shrine to Sacred Heart Women's College. The breeze was blowing, the street trees were swaying gently on both sides, and the sweaty Sakakibara ran until he forgot about himself. He didn't know when he started to like running. But whenever he felt an unspeakable emotion in his heart, he would try to move his legs to dispel the emotion. The riverside path seems to be filled with light, and the solid ground that sounds every step of the way is as dazzling as a lighthouse on the sea, leading the way amidst the occasional whistling of vehicles on the street. Arrived near Sacred Heart Women's College. Girls in sailor uniforms looked at him from time to time on the roadside. When his figure flew past from the opposite side, they hid their heads together and whispered excitedly. "That boy's figure just now. Look at the muscles on your legs, Yu-chan. You must have ABS. Lian-chan, go up and ask for your contact information. If we don't take the initiative, we will have no future at all in the women's college." "What, why don't you go?" "Hey. They've run away a long time ago. At 9 o'clock, the charm seems to have taken a class leap. In the past, most girls would stare at him for a second, but now they would gather together to discuss his characteristics, such as his long legs, height and so on." Raku Sakakibara accidentally saw a long-haired girl in front of her wearing the Western-style uniform of Akita Junior High School. Black hair, pleated skirt, knee-high socks, and small brown leather shoes. As the pace continued, the girl's back gradually approached. Sakakihara Raku didn't want to know what the other party looked like at the first moment, but inexplicably reminded him of Amamai Kuruori through the same school uniform. From that day in the shopping mall, her image has been lingering in my mind. She is cute, kind, upright, sunny, and gentle. Her beautiful long flaxen hair is as light as the spring breeze, and she is like a flower on the high mountain. Running in the breeze, the indescribable emotions became more and more inspiring, and a long-lost excitement swayed in his heart. Although I only lived to be 18 years old in my previous life, my experience was not much higher than in this life. But he knew that hesitation was never a good thing. He decided that after the monthly test, he was going to have a love affair. He couldn't help but quicken his pace. "Hey. Sakakibara. This way." Fujino carried large and small bags and waved to him from across the street. Besides Nishijima, there was also a girl in a sailor suit standing beside him. Sakakihara stopped and looked through the passing cars. He walked through the traffic light and came to the three people. "Sakakibara, you know this, my girlfriend." "Kiyosawa Otanoha," Fujino Yoshiyuki introduced with a smile. His expression and words revealed his confidence and pride. "I usually call her Ye-chan, or Xiao." "Hello." "Hello." Kiyosawa Otoha tilted her head slightly and waved her hand cheerfully to Sakakibara. "She is a pretty girl, and I heard that she and Fujino have been studying in the same school since elementary school. However, in high school, due to different family backgrounds, Fujino went to Mitoku Junior School, which had higher tuition fees, while Kiyosawa Otoha went to the nearby Sacred Heart Girls' College. The childhood sweethearts were forced to separate. Fujino was extremely entangled at that time, reluctant to let go, but completely embarrassed. In short, after overcoming a series of hardships, he took the initiative to confess his love, and after a while, it became a love relationship. Compared to Sakakibara Raku's ordinary nod of greeting, Kiyosawa Otoha seemed very enthusiastic. "Are you Sakakibara-kun?" "Yes." Sakakibara nodded. "I feel like I'm much more handsome than Yoshiyuki-kun said." Fujino Yoshiyuki interjected from the side. "Tisk, stop talking, this is a recent change in him. I can guarantee that he was definitely not so dazzling a while ago." "Really?" Kiyosawa Otoi blinked. He was a little interested in his boyfriend's handsome classmate. "My best friend keeps shouting like a resentful woman after class every day, she really wants to find a boyfriend, she really wants to find a boyfriend. Maybe I can help them look for it?" "Don't believe it." "Xiao, you can ask 11 Deo." Nishijima Oki nodded. "It's true." Kiyosawa Otoha smiled. "That must be Sakakibara-kun who has learned how to dress up." "You just came back from Akihabara? What did you buy?" Sakakihara saw the store's logo on their shopping bags. Fujino Yoshiyuki picked up his handbag and said, "Oh, just some food, potato chips, drinks and chocolate. Nishijima Oki, there are also game cards and figures. It's you, Sakakibara, you're sweating profusely, why are you still running? Exercise, people are not born great, but show their greatness as they grow. I am growing up step by step. How long have you been running? 25 kilometers. 25 kilometers, Fujino's eyes widened. It's getting more and more exaggerated. I'm telling you, can you save some face for people like us? Just study every day. Why are you so good at sports and you're almost a grown-up? And why do I feel like you've been so good recently? He's much more handsome, he's completely different. Nishimura Oki nodded calmly, ordinary handsomeness and Kimura Takia level handsomeness. It seems that the charm of 9 o'clock is indeed effective. Recently, everyone is saying that they have changed. Yet, a smile appeared on Sakakibara's face, because he had just run, and his handsome face had a hearty smile. Hey, this guy. The more Fujino Yoshiyuki saw something was wrong, Sakakibara had really changed a lot in the past few days. Run in the morning every day, and then run at night after the morning run. He doesn't feel comfortable unless he runs 20 kilometers a day. I usually have nothing to do after class to study and study exercises. What is this kind of person if he isn't a current person? You want to continue? Keep going, there are still 5 kilometers left. After I finish running, I will run home and it will be over. Why are you working so hard? Nishijima asked. This is called maintaining your own charm at all times. Ha ha ha, Sakaki Harakun is quite interesting, Kiyosawa Otoi said with a smile. TCH, you don't want to fall in love, so it's useless to be charming. Who said that? Maybe next month you will see me starting a relationship with a high school girl. True or false? Fujino stared at him for a while, not thinking he was lying. Who knows? Well, bye, I will continue to complete the remaining 5 kilometers. Holy shit, Sakakibara. Can you please stop trying so hard? Goodbye. Goodbye, Sakakibara-kun. Kiyosawa Otoha waved cutely. After Raku Sakakibara finished speaking, he waved to the three of them and continued to run the rest of the distance. I think your classmate is quite interesting. Is he in love? No. Fujino Yoshiyuki shook his head and said, you want to introduce me to your best friend. Why don't you ask for me? They have been annoying me to death all day long, King Zao Yunyi said with her fingers. They kept saying, Aye-chan is so good to have a boyfriend, it's so good to have a childhood sweetheart, when is my turn, and other such topics. Okay, but I don't know if it can be successful or not. It's okay, no problem. Didn't Sakakibara just say that he wanted to fall in love? Oi, Nishijima interjected to the two of them. That means it's very possible, King Zao Yunyi asked with a blink. Not necessarily. Maybe Sakakibara has very high standards. After all, he himself is not bad. After running through the streets and completing the last 5 kilometers of the journey, as more and more shops and neon lights appeared around him, he realized that he was in the wrong place and had actually ended up in Ginza. Sakakibara stood next to a telephone pole and a vending machine, bent over, propped up his knees, and stopped. Happy. Give yourself a pep talk, then put one foot on the ground, lift the other foot forward and place it on the tree in front of you, press your upper body and start doing leg stretches. After completing a set of actions, he breathed a sigh of relief, took out a few coins from his wallet, and bought a bottle of room temperature mineral water from the vending machine. As evening approaches, the remaining heat of the sun scorches the sinking clouds, and the surging sea of clouds is full of melancholy orange red and dark gold, intertwining together to form a dreamy sky like an oil painting. Under the setting sun, Raku Sakakibara leaned against a telephone pole and looked at the endless flow of pedestrians in front of him. He listened to the urban hustle and bustle coming from the bustling urban area and enjoyed his own tranquility. Commodity stores, gift shops, jewelry stores, clothing stores, and huge fashion advertisements above his head were all reflected in his eyes. No one noticed him. He was just a silent bystander watching the operation of the commercial center. The solitude of being presentable yet independent from the bustling city made him feel at ease inexplicably. The third world is brilliant and dazzling, as vibrant as spring. There were electric lights, silver spoons, cheers, laughter, and sparkling champagne. This is how the country boy sans hero, the protagonist of Natsume Soshi's Sans Hero, views Tokyo. In a sense, I might have something in common with him. They're all country boys. He rested for a while, got up and left. Ginza is 6 kilometers away from Shirogane Takanawa, so Sakakibara chose to jog back for more than half an hour. Arriving at Don Quixote supermarket, where he often buys groceries, Sakakibara was surprised to find a large bag of potato chips coming out. It's really a big bag of potato chips, so big that you can only see clearly the skirt under the potato chips and the slender legs wearing knee-high socks. The ladies who were going to buy groceries all around saw the man holding potato chips behind him and smiled at him. Sakakibara looked at it curiously, wanting to see who was so weird that he would buy so many potato chips at once, but the flaxen hair peeked out from the corner, and he knew who it was. Chi Minjio, let me come. Brother. Nanami, who was wearing gold-rimmed glasses, raised her delicate little face and looked at Raku Sakakihara, who suddenly appeared in front of her and helped her hold the potato chips. Why did you buy so many at once? Raku Sakakihara faced a potato chip concentration camp half his body that was like a microbiome. Because of the supermarket promotion today, buy one pack and get half a pack free. Half a bag. 2 packs get 1 pack, doesn't it mean 1 pack gets half a pack? 2 people give birth to 1 person, but it cannot be said that 1 person gives birth to half a person. Brother is secretly changing the concept. But brother is here just in time. Please help your sister get something. Nanami put the potato chip cluster in her hand into Sakakibara Raku's arms. She was carrying a small bag and was wearing a sky blue casual dress. You should call out Juliuli, Sakakihara Raku said. My sister will never allow me to buy so many potato chips. So you came here to buy it secretly? Brother, don't you think Chi Minjio is pitiful? I don't think so at all. Brother is going to expose Chi Minjio to my sister again, and then my sister will scold me again. No, I'm just asking. Tianhai Kaimingyu instantly returned to his normal calm appearance. Brother, it's okay if you understand. Although Chi Minjio likes and loves my sister very much, there are some things that I still can't let my sister know. Black belly, absolutely evil belly. Sakakihara Raku also knows why, because if she buys so many potato chips, Kururi will definitely flick her for it. Juliuli still has the aura of a big sister. The potato chips were divided into 4 small bags, each of them carried 2 bags, and started taking the tram home. Chi Minjio is very quiet. When riding the tram, she likes to sit quietly and stare at the scenery that keeps flashing outside the window. There is nothing special about this book, but because of her wonderful face and unique temperament, she is completely different from everyone else in the tram. Brother, do you think Chi Minjio is pretty? I'm just curious, are you and Juliuli, Chi Minjio, very strict in your upbringing since childhood? That's right, Tianhai Kaimingyu nodded seriously. My sister is not only good at archery, but also calligraphy and violin. She also knows some guitar. She is a perfect sister, she just can't cook. What about Kaimingyu? I'm not as powerful as my sister. When Tianhai Chi Minjio said this, she deliberately lowered her face. If there is no ambition, transcendence is not high. I think Chi Minjio at least knows how to be humble. Brother also studies Chinese literature. Seeing her interest, Sakakibara continued, more than that, I can also speak Chinese. Really? Sound words. Sakaki Hararaku was stunned for a moment. This even had a bit of a capital flavor, but because it was very girly, it was in a very cute style. Do you know how to do nanamajetsu? I learned it from my mother, and later from my father. Can Uncle Tianhai speak Chinese too? But that's right. There are books from more than 10 countries in his study room, and they are all original. Probably Chi Minjiao likes reading and is also influenced by Uncle Tianhai. However, Sakaki Hararaku didn't expect that Nanamai would have such a pure Chinese accent. His mouth was a little unfamiliar, so he began to be interested in chatting with her in Chinese. When a man returns home after the wild geese, his thoughts are in front of the flowers. People miss home every day, a 5-character poem from the Sui dynasty. After the ancient platform is shaken, autumn comes, and I look back to my hometown. Lu Changqing, climbing to Wugongta Temple in autumn and looking into the distance. This poem is the original poem that Qi Minjiao read in an article and then looked it up. The Golden Palace opens an account at dawn, and the Jade-level immortals support thousands of palaces. Sen Shen's song and poem are about the scene in the early Tang dynasty. My brother's simple question has no meaning at all. Haha, indeed, this is the same as searching for knowledge. Sakaki Haro laughed. After communicating with Qi Minjiao for a while, he found that her personality was not as strange as he imagined. On the contrary, she is still a very knowledgeable girl. She would also smile gently when she talked about many interesting little knowledge points. I didn't expect that my brother would also read a lot of knowledge. Just looking around when I have nothing to do. Qi Minjiao, do you have any recommended books? 6 Chapters of a Floating Life. Qi Minjiao likes the love in it very much. Tianhai Qi Minjiao clearly has no expression, but there is always an imperceptible smile at the corner of her mouth. True or false? Why does the name sound so much like narrative prose? It's an autobiographical essay, and it's in the school library. Okay, I'll borrow it for school tomorrow. Carrying 2 large bags of potato chips coming out of Shirogane Takanawa Station, Sakaki Bararaku and Amamai Nanamajetsu were waiting at an intersection. There is a newly opened bridal shop across the street. Under the lighting, it looks like a dazzling palace. Raku Sakakibara waited until the red light turned green and called Nanamayuki. He just took 2 steps and found that she was not following her, so he turned back to look at her. Qi Minjiao. Tianhai Kaimingyu stood there holding 2 bags of potato chips. The night breeze brought by the vehicle caressed her face. Her sky blue gradient dress and long flaxen hair floated to the right at the same time. The girl's sky blue eyes reflected the white wedding dress in the window opposite. Nana Mingzuki, Sakakibara called her again, and at the same time noticed the way she looked at the bridal shop opposite. When the countdown to the green light was halfway through, Nanamai came to her senses. She followed Sakakibara Raku with light steps. Sakaki Hara discovered that she seemed to have entered a strange state, not wanting to speak much, and seemed to be stuck in some kind of memory. Speaking of which, no matter how smart Qi Minjiao is, her heart is just that of a young girl. I'm sorry, can I take up a moment of your time? The speaker was a young lady holding a flyer in her hand and wearing a dress. Before she came to talk, she took a quick look at the girl in front of her who was holding 2 plastic bags in both hands. A light and airy temperament, a face like a spring breeze. She has been in the wedding industry for almost 10 years, and she has never seen a girl with such a unique temperament. What's the matter? Sakakibara asked. That's right, we are from the bridal shop over there. We mainly want to ask the lady next to you, sir, for a favor. Thanks to Taisu Tianguang, a Zadkan, tea house storyteller, Mongolian top order Sichuan order, I am a bird not a chicken, Tang Zi, Tick 1786913, don't want to name, book friends 201708060937259994, Raven 15532 for their rewards, thank you. Since I can't find the previous list, I have no choice but to thank everyone together. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tou Lan. Chapter 59. It's not too late yet, there are red clouds hanging in the distance, and the sky is still blue. Sakakibara glanced at the flyer in the hands of the young lady in front of him and roughly guessed her purpose. Is it something like taking wedding photos? Yes, that's the case. Our store has newly opened and is offering free membership activities. As long as we agree to use the wedding photos we took for daily promotion in the store, we can provide the couple with a set of 660,000 yen for free. Full wedding photography service. As soon as the young lady finished speaking, her cell phone rang. She said sorry and quickly called over another young girl who was handing out flyers at the other end of the street. Sister Asano, what's wrong? You come and receive the two of you, and I'll take a call. The young lady smiled and nodded to the two of them. I'm sorry, you two. Let her explain the situation in detail. I need to answer the phone. It's okay, it's understandable, Sakakibara said. After the young lady said sorry again, she hurriedly ran away to answer the phone. The young girl holding the flyer in both hands was stunned for a moment after seeing the 7 bright moons in the sky, and then said with a smile. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Xiangqianyu, and I am an employee of the bridal shop opposite. I would like to ask, how old are you two? 18. Tianhai Kaimingyu's voice blurted out. It took Sakaki Hararaku a while to react. However, the name Xiangqianyu should be Chinese, and the accent does not sound like a local. The sister in front of her, Sakaki Bararaku, guessed that she was probably a college student who came to work in a bridal shop. It's no problem at all if you're 18, and it should be okay if you're a high school student, haha, I'm not too sure. Tianhai Kaimingyu's gold-rimmed glasses glowed with a transparent shimmer. Even high school students can do it. Taking wedding photos is not considered a marriage and does not violate the law. Then why did you suddenly say you were 18? Sakakibara thought about it carefully for a while. It seemed that it was not good to use minors as models for the wedding photos used for publicity. Chi Minjiao said that she was 18 years old because she was afraid of being rejected. This matter is not a big deal. As long as the photo is taken, the age is as long as you say it is. Anyway, you are not a public figure, so the difference in appearance is not big. That's right. May I ask your names? Sakakibara. Tianhai. Sakakibara-kun and Miss Tenkai. Xiangqianyu smiled at the two and shouted, and then asked Tenkai Kaimingyu, I wonder what Miss Tenkai's intention is in taking wedding photos. It will be used as a promotional picture for our store. It's free. Sakakibara interjected and asked, you don't have any rules about paying money midway, do you? Xiangqianyu waved his hands like an anxious rabbit, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We are not lying, because our store really has just opened, and we need to do publicity to have this event. I can guarantee it, because my uncle is boss. I was brought here just to help hand out flyers and help the store find anyone interested in taking wedding photos. When Xiangqianyu said this, he felt a little discouraged. He shrugged his shoulders and sighed, muttering in Chinese in a very small voice. Japanese people are afraid of trouble. They are not willing to take pictures of free wedding dresses. Although most of the young people passing by are not in love, it is too strange to stand there all afternoon and not get anyone. The pocket money promised by my uncle, my limited edition bag. She thought that since her voice was very low and she was speaking in Chinese, the two of them wouldn't be able to hear her. In fact, Sakakibara Raku and Amamai Nanamayu heard quite clearly and understood everything. As expected, she is a female college student. It is taboo to mutter in a language that the other party does not understand in front of guests. Sakakibara thought that it was good that she didn't say anything bad about Chi Minjiao, otherwise she would definitely remember it in her heart. Okay, Tian Hai Kaimingyu nodded lightly. Eh? Is that okay? Well, okay, Tian Hai Kaimingyu asked again, is there a specific time? Time, this, Xiang Qinyu looked confused. Sorry, I have to ask Sister Qinyi. Hey, where's Sister Asano? Sakaki Hararaku, I just saw her walking to the other side. Ah. What is this? Xiang Qinyu looked very embarrassed. She turned her head and hesitated for a while, then said to her with great reluctance, it seems that time is not something that Sister Asano can decide. Miss Tianhai can come with me going to the bridal shop? I have to ask my uncle about this, haha, I'm so embarrassed. It doesn't matter. The furnishings of the bridal shop are full of romance. The decoration is mostly white with warm tones. It has a duplex floor and a large space. The front desk at the entrance is decorated with 2 bottles of pure white lilies. Looking up from the spiral staircase on the right, you can see the work area above. As soon as you enter the bridal shop, you will involuntarily move your eyes to the left. There is a wedding dress hanging in the elegant wardrobe on the left. 2 slender white slings are hung on a black clothes hanger. The waist is decorated with crystal diamonds, and the snow-colored white gauze hangs down. Similar but different wedding dresses like this are hung all over the wall, exuding a fragrance like grapefruit. That should be the bridesmaid's dress. The skirt is not so heavy and is very refreshing. Xiang Qinyu led the 2 of them through the front desk area and came to an inner room, which was separated from the main hall by only 1 wall. There was a large side of transparent glass near the block. There is a zelkova tree outside, and the sun shines into the house through the snow-colored gauze curtains. The whole room is filled with dreamy and sparkling wedding dresses. This was Raku Sakakibara's first time at a bridal shop, and he couldn't help but take a second look at these clothes that symbolized marriage. I just opened the store and bought 200 pieces of main yarn, that's what my uncle told me. Wait here for a moment while I go upstairs to ask my uncle. These many potato chips can be placed on the sofa in the hall. Xiang Qinyu looked at the 2 big bags of potato chips in his hand, becoming more and more curious. Sakakibara-kun likes to eat potato chips. No, she likes to eat raku. Sakakihara glanced at Amami Nanamajetsu, who was walking in her wedding dress. Then we must have gone shopping together, and we are preparing to go home now. Xiang Qinyu stood on tiptoe and looked in front of Tianhai Kaimingyu, who was wearing gold-rimmed glasses. From the first time we met, I discovered that Sakakibara-kun's girlfriend's skin is particularly good. Just by looking at it, I can understand that she doesn't need too much makeup to achieve that good effect, which is very suitable for her. It's no problem to take photos of celebrities in a light style and become a model. Like the quiet young lady. We are not boyfriend and girlfriend. Tianhai Kaimingyu came over and said. No. I feel like you 2 are a good match. I'm just a helper. Sakakihara shrugged. Tianhai Kaimingyu looked at the gauze skirt falling on the white floor tiles, but he did have the idea of wanting me to be his girlfriend. When have I ever? Nana Mingzuki, don't talk nonsense. Sakakibara raised his eyebrows. She obviously has the same angelic face as her sister, but she feels like a little devil. Amami Nanami turned her head, her face full of innocence. I'm not talking nonsense. Just now Sakakibara-kun peeked at me on the train for a long time. He felt very happy chatting with me and kept laughing. Xiang Qinyu understood. This is pursuit, right? No wonder he took the initiative to carry so many potato chips for her. It's hard to tell that Sakakibara-kun, whom I've just met a few times, is still a tsundere. He obviously cares about Miss Tianhai, but he still wants to quarrel with her. Interesting. It's true that chatting is fun. He really didn't peek at her. Obviously just look at it directly. No, it's not to look at her, it's to care about her. Because the loneliness she reveals from the bottom of her heart cannot lie. What do you think, Sakakibara-kun? If you like someone, you have to be brave enough to say it, otherwise you'll keep it in your heart and you'll never get a chance. Chi Minjio, you always like to tease people. Isn't it good to be a quiet girl? No, no, treating Chi Minjio blindly will only make her worse. Well, I feel happy because it's a good topic to talk about. Admit it? Just admit it. If you like me, I won't care about this kind of thing at all. No, 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 no one likes someone who can hold a grudge for a week over a bag of potato chips. Nanami was a little surprised. Sakakibara-kun, you really dare to say that? Whoever writes the manuscript for the monthly magazine has to ask someone to help review and revise it. In the final analysis, it is because he is not confident in his own article and his level. My own lack of confidence. Such cruel language. Obviously he just asked her to help see if there was anything wrong, but now it's better to directly reduce himself to a useless person. Now Chi Minjio's attributes in his mind also include a venomous tongue. As the head of the literature department, shouldn't we care about the level of our members? As the head of the literature department, I also have the right to remove members who fail to meet the standards. As the Minister of Literature, if you abuse your power, students have the obligation to report it to the Academic Affairs Office. Although Sakakibara-kun is right, but Nanami stood quietly on the spot. Her face was pretty, and her gold-rimmed glasses reflected Raku Sakakihara's appearance. She chuckled confidently. Sakakibara-kun, you don't want your sister to repeat a grade because her department work is not up to standard, right? Why did you forget this? Cruel, cruel enough. Although Sakakibara Raku is very unconvinced, only a man who can bend and stretch can stand in the world for a long time, so he accepts it for the time being. Aling has been busy with work recently, so there is nothing she can do to help her take some of her worries off. Apart from the literature department, he couldn't think of any place where he could help Aling get her name. Chi Minjio threatened him with this matter. In order to take care of his sister, he really had no choice. Seeing the way Sakakibara was being squeezed, Amami Nanamijetsu laughed happily. Don't be complacent. Oh? Does Sakakibara-kun have any other clever tricks? It's not really a clever move, but lately I'm a little tired of preparing breakfast and lunch every day. Oh, should I reduce someone's food intake? Sakakibara straightened his back, paused, and said. After all, some people don't want their lunch of potato chips and fried rice to be reduced for some reason, right? The 7 bright moons in the sky were silent. When he heard the words potato chips fried rice, not only did his expression disappear, but there was also something strange in his eyes. Sakakibara was happy to see her face return to its calm and peaceful expression, and smiled. Xiangqinyu looked left and right. This is definitely a flirtatious bickering, right? Well, how about I help you apply for a special wedding photo for 2 people? No need, X2. Then I'll take my leave first. Xiangqinyu, who noticed the subtle atmosphere, quickly left the wedding room. After this, the atmosphere becomes slightly more subtle. Although this was not the first time that Sakakihara Raku had quarreled with his sister, this was the first time that he had quarreled with Nanamijetsu. To say I'm angry, I really can't say that. Chi Minjio is not angry with my brother. Is it because you want me to carry the potato chips for you? Tian Haikimingyu glanced at him and then turned back, acquiescing to his words. Why do you feel like you hate me? Isn't it normal to hate perverts? Well, let's not talk about whether I have shown any signs of aggression towards you. I have taken good care of you recently, right? I make you potato chips and fried rice every day. Why don't you speak? Because that's the truth. Then why are you still criticizing me? Tian Haikimingyu looked at him with squinting eyes. The reason is very simple. On the one hand, I find it interesting to bicker with you, and on the other hand, I am angry with you. Angry with me? Did I do something to make you angry? Of course, it's enough to make me angry for the rest of my life. What? Tian Hai Kaimingyu stopped talking. Seeing that she chose to remain silent, Sakakibara finally discovered that the position of brother has many things to bear. In most cases, it is still a one-way payment. For example, Ling most of the time does not remember that he has helped her cook breakfast and lunch for more than 10 years and is jealous because she thinks that she does not care about her. Alas, after more than 10 years here, can the brother-sister relationship really be broken off just because of a trivial matter? Even if Ling breaks her promise and lets herself go, she won't be angry at all. This is the difficulty of being an older brother. Thanks to his good temper, a brother with other personalities would have already started a cold war with Ling and then ignored each other. This is the case with most siblings. Chi Minjiu is probably the same, she simply regards her brother as a tool brother. Any anger is just an excuse. It seems that only Julie Yulai is a little considerate of herself and wants to come over and try her best to help when she is busy. Julie Yulai is better. That. Xiang Qinyu ran down, holding the wall with her right hand and looking at the two people in the wedding dress room. My uncle will come down soon. He wants to help Miss Tianhai see which wedding dress is suitable for her. What's the time for taking pictures? Tianhai Kaimingyu asked. The time will probably be tomorrow morning, Saturday. Okay. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tiu Lan. Chapter 60. Oh no. The curtains were opened, and the bustling scene of half of the port area flooded into his mind through his dazzling eyes. The urban bustle of trams and vehicles echoed under the vast sky, while countless glass walls reflected light in the distance. Mrs. Sakakibara frowned slightly, and when her eyes adjusted to the incandescent morning light, she opened the glass door, walked to the balcony of the small courtyard outside the bedroom, and moved her body facing the tall buildings and buildings in Tokyo. Today is Saturday, right? She made a fist with her right hand and hammered her waist. Mrs. Sakakibara felt that she had been much more relaxed in the past few days. She hadn't had such a relaxed and happy day in a long time. She smiled, closed the curtains, went back to the bedroom, changed into simple casual clothes, and walked out. In the large and bright living room, the TV was on, and only Suzu Sakakihara was lying on the sofa playing with her mobile phone. She was wearing a loose t-shirt and shorts. One of her smooth feet was on the sofa cushion and the other on the armchair of the sofa. Mrs. Sakakibara asked her daughter on the sofa while tying her hair. Ling, what time is it now? Well, let me see. Suzu Sakakibara switched the screen on her phone. It's almost 9:30. Where are your brothers and the others? Brother, go out for a walk. The other two sisters. Sakakihara Suzu stared at her phone with all her attention. Julie Yulai is doing homework in the bedroom, and Chi Minjiu has gone somewhere. She must be buying books. I often see her coming back with books in her arms. That's it? Woof woof. The golden retriever Coco, who was resting on his stomach, saw Mrs. Sakakibara and quickly got up from the coffee table, wagging his tail and circling around her. Woof woof. Want to go for a walk? Mrs. Sakakibara squatted down and said with a smile. Woof woof woof. Hearing Mrs. Sakakibara say the word walk, Coco immediately ran to the rack next to the doghouse and bit off the dog's leash. Then he turned back and placed it in front of Mrs. Sakakibara, squatting on the spot with his tongue sticking out. So smart and so good. Mrs. Sakakibara touched Coco's head and did not hang the lock of the dog leash on Coco's collar. But please wait for a while. I have to eat breakfast first. Woof woof. Mrs. Sakakibara came to the microwave and took out the simple breakfast inside. Corn, fried eggs, caramel cheese bread and a cup of hot milk. After a simple breakfast, Mrs. Sakakibara came to the kitchen with a plate. Not only was there no water stain on the table, but the pots and pans were neatly stacked in the cupboard. This kid, Ellie, just makes people worry-free. After taking the key and taking off a sun hat by the entrance to the living room, Mrs. Sakakibara held Coco and looked at her daughter who was still lying in the living room playing with her mobile phone. Ailing, don't lie down and play with your phone all day. Go for a walk with me and do some exercise. Oh no, I have work to do, a lazy voice said. What's your job? You just play with your phone, right? Do your colleagues at your office know how you look like this at home? What they don't know, they won't know. Has your brother visited your company recently? He told me what happened that day and said you worked very hard. Yes, Sakakihara Suzu responded absently. What do you think? Have you ever been bullied at work? Yes, 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 it's good, it's good. The seniors take good care of me. Sakakihara Suzu kept staring at her phone, as if chatting with someone. Having a daughter who plays with her cell phone is a major torture for a parent. Because their answers are usually very perfunctory. Then let me go over and take a look at it sometime. Good. As you said, I'll go take a look at you when I'm free next Wednesday. Of course. What? Sakakibara Suzu suddenly stood up and put her hands on the back of the sofa to look at her mother near the exit of the living room. Mrs. Sakakibara asked doubtfully, No. No, 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 no. Absolutely not. Sakakihara Suzu kept shaking her head and refused. Why is it always like this? Let mom go over and take a look to see if there's anything wrong. By the way, you can also thank the colleagues who took care of you. Mrs. Sakakibara was very distressed. She obviously just wanted to care about her daughter's work and bring her some food she liked, but why did she end up being as dangerous as bringing a bomb? Okay, I won't go. But you really don't want to go out now? I'm not going, Mom, you are so verbose. Sakakihara Suzu fell on the sofa again, put on a headset and continued to look at the screen of her phone. It's just for your own good. If you don't go, I'll take Coco with me. I'm going to go for a walk in G Park today. I heard that the roses there are in full bloom. Shiba Park under Tokyo Tower? Isn't that a bit far? Suzu Sakakihara asked casually. 2 kilometers, just a few steps away. Then Coco will be taken care of by mom, bye. Seeing her daughter raising and swinging her arms from the sofa, Mrs. Sakakibara knew that she couldn't call her anymore. I'm leaving. Well, go quickly, go quickly. The sky was getting brighter and dazzling. In order to take wedding photos without telling everyone, Amami Nanami changed into a green dress early and found Sakakihara Raku, asking him to go out with her. Because she was officially going out, she changed into a pair of high heels and carried a fanny pack. A pair of long and slender legs poked out from under the skirt, her long flaxen hair moved slightly, and her whole body was as beautiful as a cherry blossom. If you want to say that Chi Minjayu dressed like this is 15 years old, if you don't know, you won't believe it even if you beat him to death. Tianhai Kaimingyu and Tianhai Julie Yulai are also the same height. Although they did not explicitly state the data, Sakakibara estimated that they had at least 170. This is almost catching up with me. What did today's new generation eat when they grew up? Like my 15-year-old self in my previous life, I didn't know if I had a 165. By the way, Aling is pretty normal, 162 centimeters, the height of an average girl. At around 9:10 in the morning, the two of them were walking downstairs together. Vehicles were passing around, and the sunlight filtering through the leaves glowed green. Sakakihara followed Jianying, who was watching behind, thinking about the quarrel between her and him yesterday. Logically speaking, Chi Minjio should have ignored him since he had let her down. Any wedding photos taken were taken by her alone. Tian Haikimingyu suddenly stopped and turned around, her skirt rippling slightly. Brother, you can stop looking at her. If you like Chi Minjio, you can tell her clearly. As long as I am happy, I can lift up my skirt and show you. Although he was shocked, the words coming from the indifferent mouth of Tian Haikimingyu were completely unbelievable. Sakakihara was suspicious for 2 seconds, and then said seriously, since you disliked me so much yesterday, why did you call me out today? You can do the wedding photo shoot by yourself. Since my brother is duplicitous and likes Chi Minjio but dare not say it, Chi Minjio wants to at least give him a chance to get close to her in return for potato chips and fried rice. Brother, you must understand that I am not a character like Lu Wenho. Marquis Lu Wen? I, Lu Buletin, have been wandering for half my life. Ahem, I digressed. What she said was that she was not an ungrateful person. Indeed, but you are not as powerful as Lu Fengxian, you are just a weak woman with no strength to tie a chicken. Diao Chan is more suitable, but Diao Chan is not as thoughtful as you. After natural, black-bellied, little devil and venomous tongue, Sakakihara decided to combine the situation and add another label to her, narcissism. Follow her in return for potato chips and fried rice. How can there be such a cheap deal? Sakakihara waved his hand quickly, no, 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 this kind of thing cannot be equaled no matter what. What does brother want? What do you want? I really don't want anything, Sakakihara thought for a moment, but at least it has to be something important, such as something that others can't have and that others can't see. Tian Haikiminyu's white and shiny slender legs had perfect lines. She stretched out her hand and slightly lifted the emerald green skirt in front of her. Sakakibara noticed her movements. Sakakibara quickly looked away. She looked at Bekai Sakakibara as calmly as water and asked. So, brother, you want to see under Chi Minjio's skirt? This kind of thing is not impossible. I didn't say that. But this was on the street, and Sakakibara didn't dare to do anything else. He looked back and said with a smile, of course, Chi Minjio, you can give it a try. I guarantee you won't move your eyes. Tian Haikimingyu obviously knows the importance, and it is completely inappropriate for people to come and go at the moment. She put down her hands and smoothed her skirt so that there was no mess at all. What? Gave up? Sakakihara smiled instead. This girl seemed to be deliberately provoking, but she didn't really do it to benefit herself. Not at all, I just suddenly felt that Chi Minjio, a beautiful girl as beautiful as her sister, betrayed her virginity just for a few portions of potato chips and fried rice. It's not worth it. After Tian Haikimingyu said this, she looked at him again and said, of course, if brother wants to take a look in private, there is no problem at all. Prerequisite, Sakakibara knew that nothing was that cheap, and Chi Minjio definitely had additional conditions. The premise is that my brother will make fried rice with potato chips for Chi Minjio for the rest of his life. Because after just one look, I will spend the rest of my life cooking for you. It's worth it, isn't it? You'd better kill me. The corners of Tian Haikiminyu's mouth lifted as lightly as the spring breeze. She closed her eyes and turned around, facing the sunny street ahead again, taking slow, light and quiet steps. At about 9:20, the two of them arrived at yesterday's bridal shop. Because they had agreed on something yesterday, the young owner of the bridal shop took the two of them to tidy up and asked another group of assistants to bring the equipment. Setting off in 2 jeeps and an RV. Ha, where are you going? Miss Yankinyu in the car had obviously just been woken up. She was a little sleepy in the back seat. She didn't even know where she was going, so she directly said the name of her hometown. Language. Shiba Park. Ah, Ji Park, We'll be there in a short drive. Xiangqianyu suddenly turned his head and blinked in astonishment. Huh? Miss Tianhai, do you understand what I'm saying? Well, yes, if I guess correctly, Miss Yang is from the south. Yes, that's right. Xiangqianyu was very anxious. She pursed her lips and made small fists with both hands on her knees. Did Miss Tianhai hear my thoughts yesterday? Saying that Japanese people are afraid of trouble won't be resented by Miss Tianhai, right? What should I do? I have never encountered such a thing. If she doesn't take wedding photos, my uncle won't scold him. He said yesterday that Miss Tianhai is very important and must do his best to complete today's schedule. Bags, lipstick, and clothes. I want it all myself. Sakaki Hararaku, who was sitting next to Nanamai, had already seen through Miss Yang's thoughts. Hold a grudge. With Chi Minjiu's petty mind, she will definitely hold a grudge. Whether she will get angry or not depends on the timing and mood. Pitiful. In order to win favor, Miss Yang is going to work hard to use her own advantages, to use Chinese to get close. Speaking of which, why does Miss Tianhai speak Chinese so well? Her pronunciation is quite accurate. I have never seen a Japanese person who can pronounce it so accurately. My grandfather is Chinese and my father can also speak Chinese. Oh. That's it, I understand, haha. I thought Miss Tianhai was an overseas Chinese. Because the entire conversation between the two was in Chinese, Miss Yang reacted when she saw Sakakibara-raku. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to snub Sakakibara-kun specifically. You have been studying in Japan for a long time, so have you learned the Japanese logic? Chatting with people in hometown dialect equals being an indifferent third party. Tianhai Kaimingyu, it doesn't matter, he can do it too. Sakakibara-kun, too. Only some. At about 9:30, a group of people from the bridal shop arrived at Ji Park. As soon as Miss Yang's uncle got out of the car, he started to use assistants to mobilize equipment and props, and was busy moving equipment. Seeing that Miss Yang was having a hard time carrying a shelf, Sakakibara-raku went up to help her. Thank you Sakakibara-kun. It's a small thing. Sakakihara held the reflective film frame with one hand. Since my physical strength reached 8 o'clock, I have become more and more comfortable in any strenuous work. By the way, Miss Amamai is really not Sakakibara-kun's girlfriend. It's really not true. I feel like you have a good relationship. Are you college classmates? They are brother and sister. Brother and sister. No wonder they are both so beautiful. That's ridiculous. Haha, it's nothing. By the way, after my uncle talked to you yesterday, he decided to use the best equipment to take promotional photos for Miss Tianhai that night. It's probably because of Chi Minjiu's beauty. But indeed, with such a special hair color and extraordinary beauty, it is not strange to want to use her photos to promote the bridal shop and use her full strength. Sakakihara placed the shelf on the lawn surrounded by various props. Actually, it's not a wedding photo now, right? It's a wedding dress, but it doesn't have the meaning of marriage. It's more like an artistic photo with the theme of marriage. Do you know, Sakakibara-kun, from the look in Miss Tenkai's eyes when she looks at the wedding dress, I can read a little bit of her longing. Is there any? Sakakihara-raku didn't notice it at all. At that time, he was busy bickering with Nanamijiu. Yes. Sakakibara-kun, you may not know that you are a boy, but in fact, every girl has a longing for a wedding dress in her heart. It is a forest, a blue sky, a breeze that blows the lake and the green grass. That place is full of a girl's vision of all things beautiful. When Xiangqianyu finished speaking, her eyes were filled with stars, like an innocent little girl who had never been in love. Although it is not that Sakakihara-raku cannot understand the speech made to her, a young and artistic woman. But, would a dark-hearted devil like Tianhai Kaimingyu, who spends all day reading books, have such longings for a wedding dress? Raku Sakakihara thought as he stepped across the grass to the caravan at the bridal shop. Not long after he and Xiangqinyu arrived, Tian Haikimingyu, who had changed into a white wedding dress, appeared in front of the RV directly opposite. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tiu Lan. Chapter 61. In the rose bushes not far away, the morning light shines faintly. The willow waist is slender, with two blooming white lilies embellished on it, the collar opening exposes the collarbone, the bright breast protector covers the firm girl's breasts, the braid like wheat ears is tied behind the head, and the flaxen hair is hanging down drop waist. She is tall and graceful, with fair skin, slender figure, and graceful steps. With every step she takes, layers of gauze overlap to form a dreamy skirt. She was wearing a clear wedding dress, as noble as a white snow lotus growing on the top of a mountain. The delicate and clear face is looking straight ahead, with an expression as calm as water, which makes it look like a shining princess. Picture. The area around this park green space was filled with competing roses, but until she appeared, all the colors in sight seemed to set off her fragrant beauty. Because it was Saturday, there were already many people walking in the park. As soon as Tian Haikimingyu appeared in her wedding dress, she immediately became the focus of everyone's attention. She walked onto the grass, and Sakakibara's eyes were locked in one direction. Before he could express any thoughts in his mind, Miss Yang on the side shouted with her face held in her hands like a little girl. Haha, sorry, I lost my temper a little. Fine. Sakakibara-kun, don't you think Miss Amamai is super beautiful? I envy her so much. The first time Amamai Nanamajetsu came closer, he looked at Raku Sakakibara, who was directly in front of him. The bright face had no expression, and her eyes were as calm and upright as ever, but the moment she looked over, Sakakihara felt that she was deliberately provoking. Miss Amamai's temperament is really unique, Sakakibara-kun. Huh. You are brother and sister, but do you have different last names? Sworn brothers and sisters. So that's it. Xiangqinyu nodded, and then smiled playfully. Sakakibara-kun, please come here first. There are still some things to prepare before taking the wedding dress. Around 10 o'clock, most of the equipment for taking pictures of the team was moved to the park lawn, and the makeup artist began to do some detailed makeup touches on Tian Haikimingyu, but looking left and right, it seemed that there was nothing that needed to be done. Do you have any suggestions, Miss Yang? Me? I can only transform myself. You are a professional and you don't even know, so I don't know either. Really, this skin is so good. I have never seen such good skin. I feel like I don't even need primer. That's it, Xiangqinyu tried to ask with some uncertainty, and then looked at the boss's uncle and many assistants who were placing props in the distance. Tian Haikimingyu, you make up your mind. I'll take another look. The makeup artist circled around Chi Minjiu in the wedding dress. After thinking about it, she applied some moisturizing lotion to her face to make the skin on her face look more shiny. After completing this simple task, the makeup artist couldn't help but praise in his heart and said to Sakakibara Raku beside him, Sakakibara-san, your girlfriend is really well taken care of and is naturally beautiful. You plan to get married this year? Really? Although you look a little young, are you actually old enough? Tian Haikimingyu raised her eyebrows at this time and said in a voice without any fluctuation. We are not boyfriend and girlfriend, and we have no plans to get married. Sakakibara shrugged and said that was it. Huh, the makeup artist obviously did not expect this result, because the two of them came together. Besides boyfriend and girlfriend, what other relationship can make a man and a woman take outdoor wedding photos together? Realizing that the makeup artist had misunderstood, Xiangqinyu quickly explained, they are brothers and sisters, adopted brothers and sisters. That's it, I'm sorry. The makeup artist smiled at the two of them to apologize. It's okay, Tian Hai Kaimingyu said. After the makeup was done, the preparation took about 5 minutes, and now the work was completed. Looking at Nanami Minjio in her wedding dress, Sakakibara was thinking about how he would look like when he was arguing with her. It is obvious that he has a venomous tongue and narcissism, but it is reflected in that quiet and beautiful face, which is completely annoying. Xiangqinyu's uncle is a very artistic-looking boss. He is about 30 years old, his surname is Liu, and he is from Hangzhou. He wears square-rimmed glasses and has short hair in a ponytail. Under his command, the whole scene is orderly. Proceeding. After directing the arrangements, Liu Xing breathed a sigh of relief and stood next to Sakakibara Le and Xiangqinyu. Let's take some single photos first. My idea is that Miss Tianhai is holding a bouquet of flowers, standing on the grass, looking at the blue sky, turning slightly sideways to show her curves, and showing a three-dimensional effect. After that, Boss Liu enthusiastically told Sakakibara a lot about the methods and angles of taking pictures. Unfortunately, Sakakibara didn't understand much. He only knew that the end and the scene served to highlight the character's temperament. Obviously, Boss Liu is also a photographer and loves his job very much. I just don't know why I want to come to Japan for development. Xiangqinyu smiled and said, Uncle, it's useless for you to talk so much. People can't understand. Yeah, haha, I'm sorry. I just didn't expect to find such a suitable candidate on the second day after opening the store. At the same time, I have enough things to do. I feel a little happy. Literary young boss Liu looked at Tianhai Kaimingyu standing on the lawn over there, wearing a white wedding dress, and said in admiration. Miss Tianhai is really a natural beauty. I believe anyone will like a girl like this. She is white, clean, and has an outstanding temperament. Sakakibara could hear the emotion and yearning in Boss Liu's heart. He secretly asked Qianyu on the side, is your uncle single now? Single mother and child, Xiangqinyu responded secretly, with a smile in her eyes. Then there's nothing wrong with it? The subtext of Sakakibara-kun's words is that Miss Amamai is beautiful. Well, ahem, there's no need to deny it. Haha, but didn't you say yesterday that you wouldn't like someone like her? I won't like her, but that doesn't mean I don't admit that she is beautiful. Besides, we are brother and sister and live in the same family. The important thing is, they are sworn brothers and sisters. What's wrong with adopted siblings? Adopted siblings are also siblings, at least that's how I see her. In many anime light novels I have read, there are love stories between you and your adopted sister. Ms. Yang, you must have read too many light novels and anime. How is this possible in reality? Sakakibara actually said this because he didn't want to admit that he liked her. If he admitted it to Xiangqinyu, wouldn't it be in line with Qi Minjio's wishes? He has always been a good-tempered person, but recently when he was staying with Qi Minjio, he just couldn't help but quarrel with her. The feeling that a little devil is almost controlling people is very uncomfortable. No, I'll do it myself. Boss Liu is addicted to photography. With the best camera in the store, he and another photographer took several pictures of Tianhai Kaimingyu wearing a wedding dress in the park in front of her. The results were quite good. Tianhai Kaimingyu seems to have an innate talent for modeling. She knows where she should be and what kind of pose she should take without the photographer reminding her. She stood in a sea of flowers surrounded by roses and roses. Her eyes, movements, figure, white collarbone and neck, and snow-colored wedding dress showed details that could impress everyone. There are more and more people watching in the park. In addition to the elderly people who come here for daily walks, many young people also come around. Joining in the fun is a common trait, not to mention a very beautiful woman wearing a wedding dress. Wearing a wedding dress, Tianhai Kaimingyu has become the focus of the park at this time. And she did not dodge everyone's gaze, but remained as calm as ever. Sakakibara looked at her in the shade, and suddenly recalled the look in her eyes when she looked at the wedding dress yesterday. Quiet and peaceful, with a little yearning in the memories. The reason why she so easily agreed to take wedding photos for the promotion of this new store must have her own ideas. Boss Lou came back. He seemed very satisfied with his results. He stared at the camera screen and kept mumbling words of praise. Finally, he smiled and turned his attention to Sakakibara Raku. Sorry, can you trouble me Sakakibara-san next? What? Wedding photos. Raku Sakakibara was surprised for 2 or 3 seconds and said loudly, I want to take a photo. Aren't we just taking individual artistic photos? It was originally like this, but the effect of Miss Tianhai's photo was so good. A lot of us discussed that we should not waste the opportunity. If there is only the woman in a set of wedding photos, it would look monotonous. With this idea, we and Miss Tianhai we discussed it just now and she agreed to take a couple photo. It's obviously inappropriate to find a male companion for her. She also said she didn't want to take wedding photos with other people. Isn't there Sakakibara-san by chance? We are brother and sister. Can you told me about this matter? I asked Miss Tianhai and she had no objection, perhaps seeing Sakakibara's resistance and hesitation. Boss Lu quickly added, don't worry, this is just a group of artworks, it's just a photo, even though it's a wedding photo, it has no relationship to marriage, it's just a set of artistic photos for publicity. Boss Lu repeatedly emphasized that he would be remunerated, and he was polite and sincere, but it made Sakakibara Raku feel a little frustrated. But how could you agree to such a thing? It's too strange. Chi Minjiao is okay to shoot alone, but it takes 2 people to shoot. What if mom and the others see it? Although explanations can be used to smooth things over, it will definitely cause unnecessary trouble. There is no need for Sakakibara Raku to take this risk for more than 100,000 yen. However, just when Sakakibara was about to refuse, Boss Lu righteously. Out of the corner of his eye, he suddenly caught sight of the 7 bright moons in the sky diagonally opposite. The girl looked at herself, with an imperceptible smile on her lips. She stood gracefully on the green ground, her right hand deliberately lifting the hem of her wedding dress. The red lips shouted at him. Provocative. This is definitely provocative. But how can I put it? It's not that he can't understand Chi Minjiao's idea of taking wedding photos. Although it was a bit sudden, she definitely had her own reasons. It's just that she insists on dragging her along, which is a bit unreasonable. Is it because he blocked her mouth yesterday, so she wanted to take revenge and deliberately teased him by taking wedding photos together? With Chi Minjiao's narrow-mindedness, it's really possible. Sakakibara-kun, Miss Amamai seems to be calling you to come over. Really? Sakakibara turned his attention formally to her. The artistic young boss Lu also said at this time, Sakakibara-san can discuss it more with Miss Tianhai. We and another photographer will carefully check the photos nearby. If it is okay, please feel free to call us. Don't want to agree. Because there is no reason to agree. This was Raku Sakakibara's reply while sitting in the RV, facing the 7 bright moons in the sky. Tianhai Kaimingyu put her hands on her knees. Didn't I tell you that you don't like Kaimingyu? Why are your eyes a little wandering now? That's because your collarbone is exposed too much in your top, which is not elegant. Tianhai Kaimingyu returned to her usual intellectual appearance in the literature club, and said in a calm tone. We are in the RV now, in a private space. As I said just now, as long as I admit that I like Chi Minjiao, then Chi Minjiao will abide by what I said before. She was still wearing the same wedding dress, and her whole body was as white as a dream. Her tiny arms and petite shoulders gave her an indescribable girlish beauty. Something's wrong, why does Chi Minjiao keep trying to induce her? Sakakibara tried her best to relax her mentality. She must be deliberately inducing herself to explode. If she did, she would be fooled. By then, she would be happily enjoying her embarrassing scene in her heart. She wanted to control her emotions. Absolutely not to be led by her, absolutely not to be led by her, absolutely not to be led by her. Repeat this sentence 3 times in your mind. Sakakibara smiled and formally faced Tenkai Nanamayu, who was only 2 distances away. Chi Minjio, I don't want to argue with you at all, I dash. If you hesitate, just admit it directly. You like Tian Haikiming you. Dot. What kind of foster sister are you? How could anyone tease his brother like this? Are you excited? After all, she is a beautiful woman like me. She would feel comfortable if she held me in her arms occasionally, right? This is true. How about taking some pictures with me? I can make you satisfied. What? Brother, you are the kind of boy who is rarely loved by others, right? Not only have you never had a girlfriend, but you have never held hands with other girls. You don't even talk to girls a few times in school, right? As if asking a question, Nanamai moved to Sakakibara Raku's side without any scruples. A thin white hand pressed on the back of his hand. Then, she lightly pressed her lips with her index finger, and in a voice that could only reach his ears, she expressed the desire hidden deep in her heart in a whisper like hot breath in his ears. But I like you. Although he knew that these words were a bit abrupt, he still couldn't help but feel his heart beat faster at the sight of her wearing a wedding dress. Should we say that this is the charm of women? That kind of passion that rubs against my ears really makes my whole body itch. Sakakibara calmed down, opened his eyes, and saw Nanamajetsu sitting back down again, seemingly smiling, but with a calm face. Why do you want to take wedding photos? Well, you should have asked your sister something about me, right? I can only answer that wedding dresses are something I like very much. Then why are you looking for me? It's very simple. Didn't I just say that I like my brother? Combined with her current expression, the word like is provocative and intentionally induced no matter what. Did your brother feel excited just now? No. You're definitely excited, right? I can only say that my heartbeat is racing, but I can't even say that my heart is excited. Tian Haikiming smiled, how about it? Even as a sworn brother, can you fulfill the wish of my sworn sister? Although we have only known each other in this family for a short time, I am also very grateful to my brother for taking care of me. In the future, I will also get along with my brother more friendly. I don't really dislike Chi Minjio. On the contrary, I was really touched because of her beauty. It's just that her character is too bad. Forget it, then as an elder brother, I will reluctantly agree to your request, my adopted sister. Well, that's right. I like a stronger brother. Stop teasing me with your words. Don't you think it's interesting, brother? Not at all. Sakakibara Raku thought about what to do if his mother saw him. If he saw it, he would see it. Anyway, he was just a foil. The main reason is that Chi Minjio wants to take wedding photos, and my mother is not the kind of stubborn person. She can get over it with a little explanation and just take an artistic photo. It was inevitable that the situation would be a bit emotional at that time, but the direction was still right. But when they really entered the shooting session, and there were so many people watching in the park, Sakakibara Raku felt how embarrassing the so-called wedding photos were. Okay, good, a little further to the right. The artistic young boss Lu and another photographer in the store each held a camera, and their perspective lenses were focused on the 2 people who were about to climb up the tree. This was Boss Liu's idea. He said that there was a low old tree in Ji Park with thick branches, and the extended crown covered the sky. When the sun shines and the breeze blows, the leaves are whirling and the shadows are moving, which is quite beautiful. So Nanamai and Raku Sakakibara, who had changed into a suit and tuxedo, were arranged to go up. Although the trunk is very thick, enough for several people to stand on it, and the branches are only 2 meters high from the ground. It is obviously not that simple for Tian Haikaimingu, who is wearing high heels, to climb up. She held up her skirt, stepped on the tree roots, and looked up at Sakaki Hararaku, who had gone early. Seeing her delicate little face looking up, Sakaki Hara knew it was impossible not to hold her. Her high heels were riding on the tree trunk, and Siankinyu and Mrs. Ano, whom she met yesterday, were supporting her below. Sakaki Hara took her little hand, pulled her up, and hugged half of her waist at the right time, to help her stabilize the angle. After such an operation, Boss Lu took the opportunity to complete several photos in succession. A husband-wife collaboration like this is quite interesting. "Okay, Miss Tianhai, remember to stand still," Xiangqianyu shouted from below. She was very happy to participate in a wedding photo shoot for the first time. The 7 bright moons of Tianhai are now very close to her, and her body is filled with the fragrance of a girl like lilies. When this fragrance that only belongs to young girls floats on the nose, people can't help but hold their breath for a while. Since I was holding her sideways just now, I accidentally touched her when she climbed up the tree. Sakakibara wanted to pretend that nothing happened, but Amami Nanamayu took the initiative to ask the question without caring. "Ask me again, were you excited just now?" "No, not at all." "Hold my waist now. It feels very comfortable, right?" Brother is really duplicitous. He clearly has feelings for his adopted sister, but he dare not say it out loud. "Answer me honestly, my waist is very soft, right? Why can this girl who is 2 years younger than me be so thick-skinned?" If it were Julie Yulai, he would have started blushing, right? He is really a little devil, he is so annoying. But Sakakibara knew that Nanamijiwa most likely had only one purpose in doing this, which was to embarrass herself so that she could feel happy. In other words, she just likes to watch plays, watch people make fools of themselves, or watch people feel embarrassed in front of her. She is obviously a younger sister, why is she so controlling? After the two of them stood on the thick branches side, the photographer below looked at the camera and couldn't help but said, "This location is really amazing, with the green leaves above the head, the sunlight, the trunk and branches on the left, and Tokyo Tower behind you, the skirt is flying in the blue sky, and below are all kinds of roses and roses." From another angle, when the literary and artistic young boss Lu saw this scene, he couldn't help laughing. "Wait a little longer. When the wind blows and the sun falls through the gaps in the leaves, the picture will be fuller." The two photographers waited patiently below. However, Sakaki Hararaku felt that he was suffering because the branches were only as wide as one person standing, so he had to hug Chi Minjia's waist tightly. Although he said it was nothing, he actually climbed up to her slim waist, looked at her bright and beautiful face so close, and felt the girl's breath getting clearer and clearer. It's impossible not to have your heart beat faster. Happiness Tian Haikaimingu shouted in front of him with a small voice. "What's wrong? Are you trying to tease me again?" "No." "Do you want to know why Chi Minjiu agreed to take a set of wedding photos so casually? You have loved wedding dresses since you were a kid." "Yes, and also wrong." "What's the meaning?" "You two, please hold on a little longer," a voice came from below. "Hold tighter." She intentionally pulled Sakakibara's waist closer to her, and the two of them got closer. "I heard your heartbeat. Did you promise not to be tempted?" "This is a normal reaction." "Tough talk. But it doesn't matter. You will gradually become honest step by step." "Oh. Slow down." Mrs. Sakakibara stood at the entrance of Shiba Park with her golden retriever, Coco, when a breeze blew, causing her to look in the direction away. She suddenly discovered that there seemed to be many people watching something beside the rose bushes in the meadow in front of her. Yesterday's chapter was harmonized by Dian Niang for a short period. Where is the skirt?